Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Truth Table. I'm Paul Everton. This is season 2, episode 46. My guest is Ron Hennessy. We're going to be talking about the 7 principles of Hermetic Alchemy and the 7 tenets of Satan. So a lot of tales are going to curl for this one, but they tell you not to look. You might as well look. That's what I found. I started looking and reading things from different sources that I understood why they didn't want me to read it, and that's why I'm forced to bring it up forward before the end of this mission. And this mission, ends in a few days. Next, 31st, the last show. So it's all out there. It's in the archives, all the information, and this is just another massive stone that we're going to lift up, and I look forward to the conversation right after that. Well, I was really looking forward to this conversation, and I knew I was going to curl tails and curl people's hair because it's going to be shocking. Let me just lift the stone right now before we start. Satanists don't worship Satan. Bet no one told you that before. That's what I do. I do the truth. Luciferians are a different thing. But we're not here to talk about that. We're not here to talk about Hermetic Alchemy, which is 7 principles: mentalization, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. So it's I will take as long as it takes to get through it all. I'm very grateful that Rob has joined me today. Welcome, Rob, to the Truth Table.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, we can go through the Hermetic Alchemy if you like. We can start wherever you like, actually, wherever you feel comfortable.
Actually, when we first started talking, I thought we were already. I thought we were already
No,
live. I thought we
no,
were already
no.
into it.
Yeah. No, it has to be official.
Yeah. So, I think we started talking about how knowledge is occulted or hidden from us, right? So those who control, the social engineers that mass mind control us, do so by a power differential, right? And the power differential is knowledge, is hidden knowledge, right? So they have the knowledge that they're hiding from the masses, which is occult just means hidden, right? So
Absolutely.
when you
Yeah.
hear, yeah. So when you hear that, you might think that occult is something evil or dark, where it just simply means it's hidden, right? And
Mhm.
they make it sound evil, so you don't look there, so you don't figure them out, right? And the most occult knowledge, I believe, is the knowledge of self. So if controllers or dominators know you better than you know yourself, then it's easy to play you, right? and especially playing on your emotions and making you feel certain ways and then taking advantage of the way you feel to make you behave in certain ways, the way they want you to behave. And that's kind of the main way it's done. And one of the main mechanisms is fear and just the hiding it in general,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of like if you were up against somebody who's a professional psychologist at the top of their field and good at hypnotizing you, like Ravine, and
Mhm.
basically they have such an advantage to be able to control you. So the knowledge of
Absolutely.
self is important. So we hear in the holy books and stuff that this the search is within, right? The kingdom of heaven is within. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
That's a great topic too. I love talking about it. And I tell people, the only, gift that we got is the firefly that shows us this light that's inside of us. We can't see our own.
right.
That's my
Yeah, so
perspective.
I
It just shows
think the thing,
even the firefly matters to the creator.
yeah, yeah, and I like how people worship on such a way that like that's really humble, and the
Mhm.
more humble the worship, that's where you get people who worship the dung beetle or worship the dung itself, right? Because they see God or they see, I mean, that's not my
Yeah.
favorite term for it, but,
It's
they see
not,
intelligent infinity or source energy and that sort of thing in
yeah,
in everything that is organic and everything that is natural, right?
hmm
So if they can see that in a piece of crap, that's pretty humble way of connecting,
yeah,
right?
indeed.
And keeping you grounded because it's on the ground,
Yeah.
right? Beetles and I think that's why you have a lot of beetle symbolism in early
hmm
ancient in
Yeah.
ancient Egypt and stuff. It's a big icon, right? Like the beetle.
But you're right. Words matter. Like God is GAD. So
Yeah.
that is the serpent in Adam and Eve, the in Eden, and Gadriel. So so when you say God, he's the God of this world, isn't he? Just by saying the word. And words matter so much. That's why I say creator, because it doesn't get complicated. It's very
Yeah.
specific, because you're not really allowed to say the actual word of God, the
Right.
name. So creator is the
Well,
only way to not get deterred from source.
right. And then there's also the idea that the God that can be named is not the real God. Because as soon as you name it, then you're bringing it down. You're bringing it into it down from spirit into physical reality, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, so in the Tao Te Ching, for example, it says that something like the Tao, the Tao that can be named is not the real Tao, basically, right?
hmm
So, and the more you the more you try to bring it down to earth, the further away, you're pulling it down from heaven, right? To try to
yeah.
understand it. But so if you start naming and gendering and drawing pictures, like in a lot of traditions, that's forbidden, right?
hmm
To try to
Yeah.
draw a picture of God is a no-no, or even to name a specific name is a no-no, right?
hmm But anybody watching this show, you're going to leave here knowing in basic terms Hermetic Alchemy. And we're going to go through each segment. There's 7 principles. Mentalism is thoughts create reality. Quantum
Do you mind,
physics.
do you mind if we kind of start with an overview? Since we're talking about the creator and
Oh,
source
sure. Anything you
energy
like.
and stuff,
Anything you like.
I
Anything you
I
like.
think it, yeah. if we could start with that, because that's important, right? Because I think,
Very. It's
yeah,
foundational for sure.
yeah, and I think a lot of people are. I mean, I think we know it. I think we know it in our subconscious that we know all this stuff,
Hmm.
right? But
Yeah.
we're so
It's a
living
sad
our
story,
lives and
man.
so many thoughts going through our mind, our
Hmm.
our brains, you know, so many
Yeah.
thoughts and so many feelings and emotions and stuff that it's you get distracted, and sometimes it's good just to review it all at once, you know, and kind of put it all together,
Yeah.
because you know anybody who's into deep spiritual practice, um you know, plant medicine ceremonies, different ceremonies, they it's like they say, when I did an ayahuasca ceremony, the shaman said that what we're doing, I don't know if it was the shaman or if it was Pachamama, because it's got a little blurry there, but it was the idea that what we're doing when we do these ceremonies is that we're cleaning up our lens of perception, right? Like, so
Yeah.
sometimes you hear like the doors of perception, like the band the Doors, that
Hmm.
the doors are the doors of perception. So it's but I think a lens is a better analogy, because it's it's making it, you know, making our subconscious mind conscious, bring it into consciousness. So it was described in this ayahuasca ceremony that it's like a lens, not really a door, but it's like a lens,
Hmm.
right? And through ceremonial practice and through creating with intention and sharing it with the world and things like that, we can clean up that lens of perception. You know, like because with our social conditioning and our indoctrination, you know, it can become cloudy, murky, translucent, right? And that through practice we can clean that lens up, so we can see deeper into ourselves, so we can see our deeper true selves, you know, and then be able to kind of operate from there, right? On a deeper level that's connected
Yeah.
with spirit, and
Hmm.
you know, on the spiritual plane and the mental plane and the physical plane, kind of like in balance together, and really specific, like you know, the energy flow, like because we're all receivers and transmitters, right? And it's a flow of energy through us,
Yeah.
and that
Yep.
we can clean up our faculties, our energy centers, to be able to be
Yep.
in full flow, right? And
Like
and
a
kind of,
wave, up and down,
yeah, yeah, and that can be
light and dark, yin and yang. It's expressed
yeah,
in many ways, uh, just as visual ideas of it and demonstrations of it. Like our brain has two sides. They both do
yeah,
different things. They're
yeah,
separate. It's
yeah,
very cool. And then we have the masculine and feminine parts of each
yeah,
cell,
yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah, so
it's fascinating.
we can get into all that in more detail. I was thinking,
Sure.
I don't know how well you can see this, but I just basically jotted down words so I don't get too far off track and I remember what
Uh,
I'm trying to
okay,
cover.
we can
But
do it. All I have to do is just reverse you, and let's see here. Just have to shoot.
oh
How can I
yeah,
do
because
that?
well, I mean, because I don't know if it matters too much if it's because it appears to be like mirrored, but I don't think that's a big deal.
Oh, oh, yeah. I don't think I can. I can change it from here.
That's okay. I think it's okay, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
think only you can reverse it. You can reverse it, and they can read it. But you have to do it on your camera. No,
oh. Uh,
but yeah, it's just a
I'm
reverse
technologically
mirror.
challenged, Paul. I'm
I see a button here. I'm
afraid
gonna try it. No,
I'm
that didn't.
afraid can you like take over my
Oh, I
computer
know
or
how to do it.
something?
I know how to do it. I remember. I remember how to do it right here.
Yeah, I'll
I
hey,
did it.
there. Yeah,
I
cool.
did it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yay!
yeah, sweet, nice.
I am
See, you're tech
awesome,
savvy. I
man.
could I could use you. Can I? Do you sub out your tech services? I need like a phone assistant. I'm so bad, like pressing buttons on my phone. It's going around in circles. It's ridiculous.
Let me see if I can.
Anyways, okay.
Okay, let me see if I can make things
Try
better.
to square it up a little bit.
I think it's best to
Or
just kick, kick myself
whoops,
out.
whoops. Well,
I'll just kick
okay.
myself
Well,
out.
no, that okay. Well, I don't know. That looks okay.
I can't move. I don't think.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
oh, I can move my face. Wait a minute. Oh no, I can't. No, I was incorrect. These are new things I've never done before. Yeah, I can take myself out and then I won't be there. But you go ahead. I won't interrupt.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can maybe get to a point and have a little chat about it because I really like everybody's input on things really because it gives you another perspective. And even if you think you know the material really well, another thing is too is that if when you could when you converse with somebody over it, then you kind of learn it in a different language, or you get to understand like how other people are gonna receive it, or because we're both going to be teachers and students here, right?
Yeah, and it's going to be shocking because these are words you may have never heard. And time is up. You know, you have a right to know the truth about everything.
Yeah, and that I guess okay, we can kind of maybe get into the truth a little bit later, but yeah, it's probably it should it probably should
That's
be,
kind of
but
what the whole
but
thing that we're doing anyway.
but
We're telling the truth.
yeah, yeah, well, yeah, truth table. So can we understand these things? Can we understand oneness? Can we do we have the faculties to be able to like fully comprehend that? You know, ideas like source energy. You heard, you know, the idea of God referred to as source energy
Yep,
or
yep.
intelligent infinity
I say
is one
creator,
is one that I,
enigma.
I really like. Intelligent infinity, creator,
Yeah, I
great
use
spirit.
enigma and anomaly and creator. Those are
Yeah,
my. I mean, if I'm gonna sit
nice.
like speak to God, I won't say God. I'll say creator. Uh,
Yeah,
my enigma. I am that I
yeah.
am. You and I, we're
That's a
together.
good. That's a that I am that I am. That's a good one. But yeah, it is what it is.
It is what
Like
it is.
it is what it is. I am what
Yeah,
I am. That's great stuff. Yeah, yeah. Because like God, the word God's been so I don't know used and abused that it can be problematic. Because
yeah.
then there's goddess, right? Then you're into dualism.
Well,
So
scripturally, they changed names in the Bible. I didn't like that very much. I thought that was very deceptive. But I had to go like deep in the history to find it because every copy they got has got their new versions. Yeah, God
yeah.
is a
Well, it's
very
been
loose
interesting.
word. Yeah, and it can be heard because it's all about sound, and vibration. So when you say God,
Right,
you're actually
right,
saying
right,
God, God. That's how you pronounce it. It's the same.
right.
So that was a little
Yeah,
trick they played on you.
yeah. Some people connect with Om or
Yeah,
different
yeah,
bodial, different
mm-hmm, yeah,
primordial sounds of mantra, right? To
yeah,
connect that way. So yeah, the Tao, Brahmin in Hinduism, or universe. This is an interesting one because when I was raised Roman Catholic, so when there was a lot of red flags being raised Roman Catholic, and I kind of made a promise that I was going to at least hang around long enough to get confirmed, and then I was allowed. My family was going to allow me to make my own choice after that. So I ran away pretty quickly after that. But because there was some red flags on kind of seeing how it was used as a control mechanism. and it was being used for mind control. But but at the same time, there was some really stuff that I really resonated with, right? Like the teachings of Jesus and the Old
Oh,
Testament too.
me
The
too.
Old Testament too, that I really deeply
Oh,
resonated with.
yeah.
And I knew there was a lot of truth there, but there was, I don't know, it was maybe the wrong flavor for me or something. There was,
Well, I don't. I think they were talking about the sons of God. Some bad ones, some good ones, some bad ones. I mean, it could be the Sumerian tablets, the Anunnaki, the gods that had different levels of power, corporals, lieutenants, and the Ijiji was on the bottom, and Amen was the Ijiji. So that's how they got you there, ending your prayers with Amen.
right.
It,
And this is, that's why I really like practices like Hinduism because
yeah.
there's multi layers to it, right? But like there's higher intelligent beings. Maybe in Christianity we call those angels, but they're still
Mm.
higher conscious
Oh,
beings.
yeah, I love
And
the
then,
Gita. I
yeah,
love the
up and
Gita.
up
It was a
to,
beautiful
to the
book.
all or the one or the, but can we really
Yeah.
wrap our minds around that
I
concept
think the Gita helped
of
me.
one or
I think
infinite?
the Gita helped me though because it showed me how
Gita, yeah,
the kingdom
yeah,
of heaven was in me. It
yeah,
revealed.
yeah,
It filled the blanks for me. It's just
yeah,
bizarre
yeah,
how all these religions did exactly the opposite of what they wanted to do. They brought me
yeah,
closer
right,
to the truth of the truth. Yeah, it's
yeah.
crazy.
And I
But so
started in
our
on a
role is beautiful.
beautiful,
We're doing
yeah,
God's will right now.
yeah, I started in on a beautiful narration of the Ethiopian Bible by
Oh yes, 88 books.
Osho, and
Hmm.
yeah, and I got into it in about an hour and then went to sleep, but
Yeah,
I was trying not to fall asleep because it was really interesting,
absolutely.
and you get kind of similar kind of takes on the life of Jesus and stuff through the Gnostic tradition and how it's,
Hmm.
you know
And I
the
see
search
him as the Word.
is within, the kingdom of God is within,
Yep.
and
And
understanding nature.
yeah, I have no problem with anything Yeshua Jesus what Jesus said. I do have a
Uh-huh.
problem with Muhammad and what he did, not just what he said, but what he did. And I'm not righteous enough to pass judgment, but just going by my own uh, moral not morality, my ethics, and understanding the body and when it's ready to marry and have children.
Mhm.
It,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's the closest we can get really to understanding the creator,
Hmm.
is seeing it through ourselves as co-creators and
Right.
being intentional about it, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So because we really can't conceptualize oneness, we can't conceptualize omnipresence,
No, it's very
or
yeah.
I mean, we can only get so close to that, right? Or
Yep. Yep.
infinity, no beginning, no end. These concepts are beyond our imagination. But we just can't process that. We can't process that. I think the closest we can get is viewing like understanding it
Mhm.
through the creation itself and nature itself, and then us as co-creators,
Right.
and then in our creation and our art that we put out into the world. Well, for a lot of us, what's our most precious creation and our most precious piece of art?
Yep.
Our children, right?
Hmm.
So, if we walk through it and think about it that way, I think it's pretty much the closest we can come to understanding the one, and these intelligent infinity and source energy and these types of things. But yeah, and the isness of it all. It just the space that was created for all of our experience to happen, and the spiritual plane and the mental plane and the physical plane, and how the creator set the stage for us, set it up basically, so we can create however we want to create,
Hmm.
and gave us it gave humans the ability to be good at it, to be and have a lot of potential. But at the same time, he gave us free will too, right? And free
Yep.
will choice. And I think and of course that's what you would do with your child,
Yeah.
right? You want your child to have free will. And you're not trying to force your child to become something that you want. You want them to find what they love to do, and you want to nourish that, and you want to
Yeah.
protect them so
Yep.
they can become basically the fullest
Yeah. What
version
God
of
intended.
themselves that they can be. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah, because we all have
So,
gifts. And the only role of a school to me is to find that gift in each child and have them pursue that journey. If it's carpentry skills or whatever skills are
mhm,
required, and prepare them to fulfill their quest as soon as they find out. They shouldn't be in a rush, but they should be exposed to carpentry, plumbing,
oh
architecture,
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
like the whole class,
and
the whole school gets exposed to everything and they can click, yes and no, and you can plan their future that way and expose them to
well,
more of what they love and what they're good at. That's all the teacher
yeah,
should do is really
yes,
facilitate their growth instead of dictating the
yeah,
speed of their
yeah.
growth. It's all backwards.
Well, there's a lot of things that go in the classroom that are just simply unnatural. Like
Hmm.
we really need to overhaul our
Yeah.
our education system,
Yeah. And
like
standards, absolutely.
like
Standards. Yep. And
standardized and,
personal
and
sexual proclivities should never be a part of it. That's a very private,
no,
personal thing, even for adults, let alone children.
right, right, and yeah. So we got a lot of work to do there. I think we kind of came close with some schools, like
Yeah.
when you look at Steiner School, but then Steiner School had its issues over the last 6 years too, in the last 10, 20 years. A lot of friends, well, not a lot, but a few friends that I have that had the kids in Steiner School pulled them out to homeschool them because Rudolf Steiner would be turning in his grave, or I should say Waldorf School in Canada. Um, he would
Mm.
be turning in his grave knowing what was going on over the last few years in Waldorf School, I think. It's supposed to be holistic learning and everything, but I think we could do a real good job of designing a school system where children are connected to nature, and they're allowed
Hmm.
outside and they're allowed to create however they wish to create, and we don't hold them back. We don't hold them back. If they're a savant in mathematics, we let them go all the way so they're at a university level when they're in grade 6 or whatever it is. I think that's really important, and I think
Yeah, I
the
agree.
connection with nature is, I think, is most important. And it, because I mean, Steiner School is kind of more, holistic learning, but like in the mainstream public school system, they're cutting art, they're cutting music, they're cutting, all the right brain stuff, and like there's a reason why we're out of balance, right? We're out of balance as a species, and especially in Canada, I think I think you and I know how we're out of balance, right? Right. And
Yeah.
I think the school system is kind of social engineering because if that's another way that the social engineering, the dominators control us, is they keep us out of balance. But I think we might be jumping too far ahead with at least the way I was planning. But I figured this is why I did this. So I wouldn't, because you and I could get off, go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, well, that's what this, this is full of rabbit holes. We got to watch where you step.
Oh yeah,
I full screen and
yeah,
I
yeah.
can still read what you got there on the board, so
Oh
that's
yeah.
great.
I'm kind of okay. So yeah, if we think about it, if we think about it, like I'm just going to go ahead and refer to Christianity because
Sure.
that's how I was, but I was raised. But there's a lot of similarities with other traditions, and there are other traditions that I have
Hmm.
researched and stuff, and there's things in there's well maybe we'll
Well,
talk about that
yeah,
later. But
well, I
when we
mean,
start
that's
talking about
God
the
again.
truth in certain
Yeah,
passages, we should probably talk
yeah,
about
but
that
that's God
later.
again, right? The divining
Yeah,
serpent. This divining
yeah,
serpent
yeah,
is
yeah,
Vatican in Latin. Vatican.
yeah,
So it's Latin. They
yeah,
hide it.
yeah.
But that's what it means, divining serpent. We don't call it that. We should. That's the English.
Right.
And that
So
way you
what
can't
happened?
hide. They hide. They hide the name.
Yeah,
But it's not hidden
yeah.
in the big room that the Pope goes in, eh? The divining serpent, and
Mhm.
then you see his snake
Yeah,
in the architecture. So they're not
yeah.
hiding it. It's
Well,
like the truth hidden in plain sight.
I think there's good snakes and evil snakes though, right? Like, I think it was in Moses you had was it Ramses?
Yes, of course.
It had
That
the
was a
evil
divining.
snake, but then Moses's good
Yeah,
snake ate the evil one, right? So,
yeah. It
and
was
then
a divining
snakes is
serpent.
very central to,
Yes, that's
right. And what's
true.
the
That's
alchemy? What's the alchemical symbol? It's
the snake.
and we can go into it's the dual, right?
Yep, good and the bad.
Snake and
And that's
and
true.
yeah,
Yes, you're
and
right. You're
the
right. And
dualistic.
people aren't ready for
We
that knowledge. I don't think
we
that's
we
a
could
lot.
talk all night about that
Oh my
symbol.
God, brother. Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy, but
So
it's true.
yeah,
You look at all the health industries; they have the two snakes. So you have the good and the bad
yeah.
snake. All right, I think we've on our way
Well,
here
yeah.
today.
There's that way of looking at it, and yeah, and
Yeah,
there's a
absolutely.
lot of different ways of looking at it. But the thing we got to realize too is symbolism doesn't just mean one thing. And
Hmm.
I can get into my experience. What was really powerful teachings I got out of the ayahuasca ceremony that I did in Peru, and one of them had to do with symbolism. But yeah, so I guess the closest we could get is say, okay, what's the process of us creating our most precious work of art, or our masterpiece? What's the process? And I think it's people who are parents. I would say most of them are going to say that their greatest work of art and their greatest creation is their children or their child. Or so I think that's about as close as we can come to understanding the creation in a deep way. Um so I think what when you're so if we think about it in I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the traditional family, and how I know for me, and probably a lot of others from a young age, you want it to be a parent someday. You wanted to have kids of your own, you want to have a family of your own, right?
Hmm.
And like I know for me, that was very early on. I knew that I wanted to be a dad, and the best dad I could be, right?
Yep.
And I didn't have a very I mean, my home was kind of my family was kind of dysfunctional. So I think that was another reason why I thought to myself, like, I'd like to have a functional, healthy family,
Yeah,
right?
that would be awesome. If you could think it, it could happen. You can manifest it.
So what do we do? What do we do? We have and I think this comes from spirit for sure. we have, so we think about, we have the will to do it. I
Yeah.
think will comes first. We're
Yeah.
willing. We're willing to have children. We need to find a willing partner, right? And we're willing to have children because out of love, because we love children and we would love to be a dad and we would love to have a family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So love's
Yeah.
at the root of it.
Yep.
And then if it's, if you're doing it with intention, then you're going to make the decision, okay, it's time for me to have a child. And so what are you going to do? You're going to search for a partner, a significant other. And I think I'm not going to say if you do it correctly, but like, you know, let's say you want to find, for me, it would be find a woman that you can fall in love with, also wants to create a family and
Mm-hmm.
has the same values and moral foundation, right? And that you think that, okay, I can create a really healthy family with this woman, or if you're a woman, this, and so I think if you do it in sequence, right, you fall in love with the person, and you get married, and you decide to. I mean, I guess that's another step. You decide to create a life as a couple. That would
Yep.
be the first step into it, right? But it's still like, so you're intentionally creating a life as a couple, and so I guess you're becoming more of sort of start to become less of an individual in a way, right? Become
Mm-hmm.
more. Um, I don't know. I think. Well, we can cover that. So then it's so okay. So you fall in love with this person. You get married in whatever tradition, and you feel like you have the same goals, and you're kind of on the same page, and you think you can create a healthy family, and you think there's going to be loving parents, and want the child to live up to its full potential and all that. So you get to a point
Mm-hmm.
where time's coming, the desire comes in, right? The desire to okay, it's time to do this, and so there's a lot of desire that happens before the creation. There's the
Mm-hmm.
will first, and then it's all based in love, right? It's like the love force is permeating the whole thing, and I'm going to talk about love as in, I think, because I think I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but or maybe not, because I think, let me, okay, I'm getting mixed up now. Let me go back to, okay, so we're at the point where the decision's made, the desire's there. Let's create with intention this life and have a baby. So we do that now, and the baby's born. Hopefully, the baby's healthy, and you're going to try to have a healthy, nurture that child to be healthy, and
Mm-hmm.
nurture that child to be, to live up to their fullest potential and be their true self and everything you want. So, like, isn't that what our creator would want for us? If our
Indeed.
creator created the human genome and created this earth and this planet and everything that's alive and has consciousness flowing through it, all this
Yep.
light, right? Like,
Yep.
isn't that what the creator would want? Because isn't that what we want when we plant a garden?
Yeah.
Like, my wife loves her flowers, and so, right? And we talk to them, and we talk to the animals, and we, that
Yeah.
because we're lucky enough to live in a place where we're we have a lot of wildlife, and we have good relationship with the wildlife and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's all a beautiful thing, right? There's a lot of love and interaction with nature, and same as it with
Hmm.
a child. You want what's best for. So wouldn't our creator want what's
Indeed.
wants us to live up to our full potential,
Hmm.
out of love?
With a purpose to
Yeah,
enhance the creation.
yeah,
And
and
perhaps it
to
could be
evolve, and to
architecture.
evolve.
That could be architecture. That was all taken
Oh,
away.
oh, we'll get it. We'll get into that.
We
We'll
used
get
to
into
be
that later.
really
Don't
good
worry.
at, yeah, we used to be
That's
really good at stuff before.
Well, yeah, and we can be with these basic understandings, especially because it was all done according to a lot of this here,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So yeah, just so getting to the as close we can come, I guess, is knowing the creator through the creation, right? So if we go to the Bible and he's creating if you go to Genesis, and the creative process is happening, I believe that will comes first. So will is basically the law, is will, and that God gave us free will, or I should say the creator gave us free will. And that only works one way, that means nothing's predetermined, by the way, right? If you have
Yep.
free will, then it's not predetermined. God did not write.
Yep.
God's letting us. I keep saying God, Creator.
I know it's
It's
hard to
crazy.
escape, but
Yeah,
we're also letting other people know that these are these traps work because of repetition, and we know that others will understand and recognize the word, even though it's the wrong word. But
yeah.
so long as we catch it every time, we're helping
And
others as
there's
well to catch it. How
that's the
how
thing too.
valuable, and words are so valuable. But I see the creator as participating in every aspect of everything.
Oh yeah. And in shamanism, which that's my main practice, is shamanism. Is You realize that the observer is the participator at at the same time. And this isn't just hocus pocus. This is there's been scientific
Mhm.
experiments to prove that that's the case, right?
It's
It's
not
shorter
hocus
scatter,
pocus.
and the double
No,
slit experiment, and all kinds of other stuff too. That
it's not hocus
the
pocus.
observer.
It's hokey pokey.
So anyway, I need you to have my back on the words, because
Absolutely, brother.
my
That's right.
my programming. I'm gonna
Yeah,
and I think a lot of that's by design, that they kind of
yeah. Divine
because it
mandate.
like
Iron sharpens iron.
yeah. And so maybe you'd be better at saying like the whole in Genesis,
Yeah.
how the
Well,
whole
yeah, because we
word
can
thing,
go
how the
through the
whole
seven.
word thing came along, like in the beginning, in the
Yeah, and
beginning, something
yes,
like
yes. Well,
there
actually,
was the word. There
I
was the
have my
word.
study on this as well, right here on the
Yeah.
computer. Yeah. Did you see that episode where I talked about it, or
I
did you
think I
want me
seen
I can show
I
you.
no, I'd like to I would love to see that. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's when I went
because
to the original Hebrew and I found the first word was Rashith, which means like
mm,
before or former state. And
mm,
Tchila is another Hebrew word that actually means in the beginning. So there is a word for
mhm.
what they translated it for. But before changes the whole sentence to me. Let's see if I can. I think it's right here.
But
And
then we
I
could
can
probably
share it.
debate too, whether, like, is there actually a beginning? Right.
No, yeah, it doesn't say beginning.
It's-
That's the cool thing. Let's see. I've got it right here, so
right,
we can
right.
all look
So
at it together.
maybe
Let's see.
in the begin that's right. So maybe in the beginning is possibly just not understanding
Yep.
it,
Well,
conceptualizing it, deeply enough, or it could
But this
also
is the
be
first
a
sentence.
control mechanism, right? They want us to think
Yeah,
in beginning and end
absolutely.
terms and not be able to not use our
Yep.
imaginations to try to conceptualize something that has no beginning and no end. Is omnipresent and is, infinite, and these kind of things, because you might get
Well,
spiritual, and you
but
might
the
get to know
sentence,
stuff.
they
You might
changed
get
the
to know
sentence.
stuff.
That's what they did. They changed the sentence
Yeah.
to change the
Okay.
message.
Yeah.
They
It's been.
replaced Elohim with God. God again.
Hmm. Hmm.
But Elohim is a plural that is
Hmm.
males and females. So let's say I'm one man,
Hmm.
but if you include all mankind, there's going to be men, women, and children. And that's what Elohim means, but it refers to higher beings, deities,
Yeah.
people that had
Yeah.
skills that were
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
gods to our comprehension at that point in time. Like an alien
Hmm.
ship coming with
Hmm.
advanced technology,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
But in the beginning in Hebrew is Tachila, not Rashith. So I knew they were lying for me from the first damn word in the Bible. I
Yeah.
was angry and then I
it's
was
definitely
terrified.
it,
I
it's
was
definitely it's
terrified because
definitely
who has the
used as a
power?
control mechanism.
Yeah, it's like who has the power to do this? Now Shiny
Mm.
Shay Naim is also an instrument. It's dome, steel vault, and firmament. So it's all three of these things
Hmm.
covered in
Yeah.
translation.
Cool.
But all this
Right.
information that I have now is being erased online. I saved it. I've been
Mm.
doing this since 1990. But
Right.
okay, but I can go right to the point here. My translation of before Elohim fashioned the firmament and the land was without form and in ruin, and darkness was upon the face of the abyss. Ruach,
Hmm.
that's where I found the woman, right there. Ruach of the Elohim moved
Cool.
upon the face of the waters. Ruach up here. They got the Talmud. You can
Hmm.
pause and you can stop and see Ruach, feminine noun. Bam!
Bam.
Also
Right.
known as the goddess of wisdom, the queen of heaven, Sophia, and
Oh.
the virgin goddess. And in the Sumerian tablets,
You're
the one
starting to
that
talk my language now, Paul.
the, the the one that changed us in their image was a woman in the Sumerian tablets. It was a female.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
all of a sudden my
Yeah.
translation brought her right here. I
Yeah.
found her.
Yeah. I think
I
I think we could get into that in more detail
It's
too
crazy, isn't it?
later. Yeah,
Yeah. I
it's
mean, I didn't
this
have to
stuff's
talk
so
more about it.
fascinating to me, Paul. We're going to be talking about some really fascinating things when you think about them, how
Yeah.
fascinating they are. Even those parts that we can't
Yep.
conceptualize, like just the
That
mystery of it
secret.
needs to be there. For me, I love
Yeah,
it,
I
right?
love it.
I don't know I'm never going to solve that mystery.
I was so happy to
But,
find a
but you know
woman.
what? I'm still going to try.
It was so
I'm still going to
liberating
try.
to find a
Let me grab
woman.
a.
It was amazing to find a woman in a high place of authority. That there was a
Yeah.
goddess who had
Yes.
uh, authority, and she was responsible to changing us to what we look like today.
Wait till wait till you
So
hear my name
wow.
of wait till you hear the name of my online school.
So
But yeah, I
yeah.
mean, there's other examples of that, right? So I think that
Yep.
the divine feminine was cut out early on for yeah, obvious reasons. Here, just a second. I'm gonna grab my
But my research was easy because I found a lie in the first word. So I
right.
thought, oh
So
great.
that tells you right
I,
there how we're out of balance right now.
it's like, oh
I mean, it's
great.
no secret. It's been like
Yeah.
this for thousands of years.
Yep. But you see, the structure of the sentence is totally different. It's not the same at all. It's just a
Right.
very clear, like before this happened, it was without form and darkness on the face of the deep. Boom. You know.
Yeah.
But the Quran lies about it. They call it the wind over the waters, and then you know what I mean? It's crazy that they all lied. I found it lying everyone. The
Yeah, well, definitely, and
Talmud
then
says the
they
wind.
but they put enough truth in there to sell it, right?
They did, but only like a real strong, powerful faith will be able to see that they're, you know what I mean, to have the
Well,
compelling to go look at read what they have to say about it. You know,
well,
to
it's the ability to discern. right? And I think like
Yeah.
this is a process. This is a process
Mm-hmm.
that you apply. You learn how to do it and you apply it, and it brings discernment. Like you're able to separate the truth from the lies.
Mm-hmm.
If you you know, and I think it's this, and it's natural. It's natural,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
And that's
and
why
I
I'm
think if
here.
we're
That's why you're here. That's why we're here.
hmm
You
hmm
know, I had a
truth
goal,
table,
and you're a part of it. You know, it's
thank you,
your part is very important
and I'm
because it's a
honored,
very
by the way.
deep, deep level we're dealing with right now,
Yeah,
and we're
and I'm sorry.
no, it's okay.
Mhm.
We're
Yeah,
both
and
excited.
yeah, right. I know, right. So yeah, and when I first learned this, I mean, it was quite a while ago now, but you know, I felt ripped off. How come I didn't learn this in junior high school
Yeah,
or elementary school? It's not. These are very simple concepts that a child can, you know. So
yeah,
once I did, like my youngest is he's pretty advanced for his age. He's taking a material that I didn't take in until you know in my late 30s, 40s, and he's all over it. And he's like me a lot. Like he soaks it up like a sponge, right? And he's into it, and he's a bit, you know, like solving the mystery. He's got the same desire to solve mysteries. Like
yeah.
me, I started out with. I was fascinated by Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew and Scooby Doo. I had the Doobie part figured out pretty early on with Scooby, and right, and
Yeah.
yeah, and just and then shows like Connections. I found very fascinating the way everything's connected, you know,
Mm.
and yeah, so that's kind of and then it's just it's, you know, I'm trying to solve mysteries my whole life and like real ones, not you know
Yeah.
unsolved
Oh,
mysteries
oh,
was a
yeah.
big favorite
I
of
mean,
mine, you know.
oh, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. I'm advanced for my age. I mean, I'm only 20. Look at me. I just had a
Yeah,
hard life.
you look great, buddy. Yeah. So anyways, we go. So when we think about that first part, like the will and the love and love, which I think is primordial, and the desire and mind and everything, it's thoughts and emotions that are being processed,
Hmm.
and it doesn't. So we're in the realm of spirituality and mentalism or the mental plane, the spiritual plane, and the mental plane. It doesn't actually come to the physical plane
Oh, you might have
until
to
the
turn that
word
sign.
until
Can you bring that
and
closer?
sure
The
until the
the
word. You know
sun
what I
is
mean?
kind of.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
oh,
that's.
I'm
Oh,
sorry. What do you
oh
want to
yeah,
change
way
the
better.
angle?
Actually, if you bring it closer to you, then I won't block it. You see my little
Oh,
box over
okay.
there? I'm trying to
All
not
right.
block.
Like
Yep.
this way?
Keep going. Yep. Perfect. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, cool. Is
Perfecto.
the angle okay?
I can read it
Am
in
I
full screen.
should I do this
No,
or you want
no,
me to go like you want to get further away from you like that,
no,
eh?
no, no, no,
Or
no,
what?
no,
Or
no.
closer to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that?
Perfect right there.
Okay.
You know
Yeah.
what? We're
Oh,
both
you know what?
perfectionists.
There's
The sunlight.
that
It's better
is
though.
the sun.
I can
Yeah,
read
okay.
it. I can read it in full screen.
I'm kind of up here right now.
Yep.
So yeah, so the word, I mean there's all kinds of stuff with the word, but that's really the first action,
Yeah.
right? That's where it goes thought, emotion, action. Well, the first action is to speak it. That's why we hear, I'm going to use the word God here because we hear that like God spoke the universe into
Yeah.
existence
And we
because
shouldn't
the
be afraid
first
to use the word
action,
either, because he still is the son of
nah,
God. He is still a creation of
oh,
God. He
oh,
still has,
yeah,
you know what I
oh yeah,
mean? He's still connected. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, sure. I just think it's
So
kind of, I think it's kind of removed from, kind of further
it's just a
removed
yeah. It's
from the
just
real thing,
for
but
sure, for
it's
sure.
okay. I mean, you know, people have different
It's good to
a lot of
distinguish
different
or put
ideas about
down.
that word too. But
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Don't
so
be
that's how
afraid to
we
use it. Just
that's
know
what
who
we
it is about.
yeah, exactly. So what do we do when we co-create, right? It's the same thing, it's the same
Yep.
process.
Yep.
It comes from spirit. I believe it comes from spirit. It comes from uh it comes from like the will to do something. You gotta have the will to do something.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you're going to have the will as a co-creator, if you're going to have the will to create something,
Yep.
it has to come from love, doesn't it? You don't create out of
Yeah.
something other than,
It's a
because
positive.
and in my view, this type of love, which I believe is described as agape in the Bible, if I'm pronouncing that right, that it's the holistic, it's actually the primordial wave
Right.
energy. So when the
And
word was spoken, when the
it's a
word was
higher frequency.
spoken,
Yeah. Yep.
and when the word was spoken, that's actually the wave
Wave.
energy.
Yep.
That's the
Vibration.
source wave vibration, and I believe of love
Yep.
that permeates, that's what's omnipresent. That's what's infinite.
Yeah.
And that's the force of creation itself. So I believe that wave energy is love, and that's the creative force of the universe.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
primordial.
Yeah.
That's omnipresent. That's probably, it is what it is.
High frequency.
Yeah, yeah.
Very positive.
And all
Positive.
frequencies, all frequencies, really, to make the physical. I mean, especially to make the physical world possible. What do you need? You need energy. Like energy is
Mhm.
the
Everything.
force. Energy is the force, right? So
Yep.
so then what? So then what happened? Well, what did he say? I shouldn't see, now I'm gendering him.
Yeah, I talk about
what
that
did
too.
what did creator say? What did creator say? Oops. So
Yeah.
what did
Oops.
creator say? Right? What did he say? Let there be light.
Yeah.
Well, what's light?
The light within
It's
us.
a particle. It's a particle.
The
Like
kingdom of heaven.
think of the physics of it,
Right?
right?
Yep.
So we have wave energy and we have a particle. Well, that's as close as we can get to understanding, I believe, understanding these other concepts and these other, like source energy, intelligent infinity,
Hmm.
omnipresence and stuff. That's about as close as we can come. And that's very primordial, right? Because we have to, in order for us to process it, we have to break it into duality. That's the
Hmm.
best we can do,
Yes.
right? And that's the primordial foundation of it, I believe, is um
The
is the wave and the
polarities.
particle, because really in the physical world, that's all there is. That's all there is. There's waves and particles, and everything in creation is the wave, is the force, and it's can be different frequencies with different particles of light,
Yep.
right?
Polarities
And
represent.
it's actually foundational physics. And I first started realizing this when I really there's a great teacher called Dr. Leonard Horowitz, who's a Christian mystic, and I think he's into mystic Kabbalah. His
Hmm.
last name is sounds like Jewish, Semitic Jewish.
Oh yeah.
And anyways, brilliant man. And I'm pretty sure, I could be mistaken, but I'm almost positive it was him that when I first heard the physics behind Genesis, and I was like, wow, like this is how true the Bible is actually. When you cut through all the crap of it, how it's
Yeah.
rewritten and misleading us and used for mind
Yeah.
control. Not like there's still some primordial
It's
good stuff
evil,
there,
man.
like real good stuff. Like
What
that's
they
pretty,
yeah. What they did was
yeah.
evil. It was evil. What they did, and so like they got most people, like 95% of the population are under one
Mm,
of these traps.
So what
And
is
it's
that?
so
So
sad,
okay,
man.
it is, it
It's
is
sad.
like the saddest thing for me. The saddest thing for me is untapped potential, yeah, especially untapped. When it comes to creation, when it comes to people
Yeah.
being the best they can be as co-creators, and
Yeah.
they're not able they're not able in
Yeah.
some way to for that to flourish, and for that to be the best it can be, and
Hmm.
that creative energy and putting their art out into the world, like that to me is the saddest thing in looking
Yeah.
at our situation. And
100%.
I think it's getting like the separation from that, from us not nurturing us to have the ability to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like cutting art out of school, like, right? That's
Yep.
so important to have. And music out of school. Well, this
Yep.
is what this is all about. And another thing too is it goes together. It goes together. It's not just like you think art is this, but it's the seven liberal art comes first. Arts and sciences. And art and science go together. Like they're almost one and the same. So, what are you doing? So if you cut art and you cut that creative force, are they going to understand science the way you could when you? If this is why this is some of the most occult knowledge that there is, and this is at the foundation of every tradition. When you dig deep enough, and this is how we know we can start creating unity again, because all the holy books and all the teachings are based on this. You dig deep enough, they all come back to these ideas, and you can see it. So I think the most enlightened among us have always been, um, or at least up there, are comparative mythologists, and those people who go around to to different cultures and learn from them, and learn what their what their teachings are about, and see what they've created, and their ideas about all this stuff, whether it's the Tao or Brahman or the universe. That's another one I wanted to talk about, because I kind of got off track. But when I was running away from the Roman Catholic Church, I kind of I ran to Carl Sagan. And in my late teens and early 20s, I ate his immaterial. Actually, I came home from downtown one night, half
Yep.
cut. Well, not really. I think it was Tuesday night, and I was a PBS guy, so I turned on PBS. I don't know, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, or maybe 1:10, and it was the first episode of Cosmos by Carl Sagan. The one what he did I think it was in the 80s.
Hmm.
And I was so fascinated with that. I watched. I never missed a Tuesday. I was sharp. I'm then boom. I'm there, and you know, and then after that, I read all of his books. I read all of them. Demon Haunted World was probably one of my favorites.
Hmm.
So, but then kind of find out now he was calling himself an atheist, and so was Einstein. But what later on in their life, they started they figured it out, and Einstein said stuff like, you know, when you're doing scientific experimentation and studying physics and doing all this, like towards the end, he's like, you end up finding God at the bottom of the flask. Is what he
Yeah.
said, something like that. And
Everywhere.
the same thing with Carl Sagan when he was towards the end of his life, and he was adamant that he was a. I mean, you see that movie. What was it? What was that movie? The one about where they go to. They were selecting astronauts to go to communicate with an alien species. What remember? It was a movie. What's her name?
Oh, yes.
You know what? Remember the actress, the really good actress that
Yeah.
was selected to go, and there was a little
Yep.
controversy about believing in God or not believing in God.
O'Neill.
What was it? It was one of my favorite movies, and it was that movie was dedicated to Carl Sagan. That's what
I've seen that movie. Why I don't know why I
it
can't
was.
remember
That was
her.
one of my favorite movies. Joe. Oh
She did
shoot!
something of
Here I
the
go.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yes, yes, yes. I can't believe I can't think of her name, but this happens. It's getting old, getting old. But anyways, yeah, right. And then and because Carl was also a feminist, so that's why Jodie Foster was
Ah, that's
female.
the name. Yeah, Jodie
Yeah, and
Foster.
that character was kind of,
Yeah.
but that character was kind of a blend of I think Carl's ideas and other
Mm.
people, right? And that she didn't go because and the other guy was an atheist and said and then pretended he believed in God, so they chose him to go, right? But anyways, I'm sorry I got off on a tangent there, but yeah, I kind of went to so that's where I went, and then but then I was thinking to myself, am I an atheist? And I think a lot of people are here because a lot of people say, well, I don't believe in God, but what are they talking about? Are they talking about that entity that has been named and has been gendered and has been drawn pictures of and
Hmm.
has done evil things in the Old Testament and whatnot? But should it even be thought of that way? Because if it's free if it's free will and we can do whatever we want, then
Yep.
bad stuff's going to happen, right?
Sure. Yep.
It's not that the creator did it. It's that he
Yep.
he created the he created the space and he created the I don't know how would you describe that, Paul, that the ether, all this
Yeah.
stuff that all the basic the canvas the multi-dimensional canvas for all this experience to happen in.
The physical portion, the chromosomes, at the
Yeah,
smallest
and,
level, every part of everything. You can't wash the creator off you
and I think that's
because
one of
he's
the
in the
biggest lies.
water. He's in the
Yeah.
water.
I think that's one of the biggest lies, that it's all predetermined, that this is
Mm.
God's plan.
Yep.
When you can't have it both ways. If we got free will, that it's not predetermined.
Yes, right.
Someone's using it as a plan to pull the wool over our eyes because
Yeah.
that's not how myth is used. That's
Yeah.
not how that's different. That's different,
Yeah.
right?
And the powers
We
that
can
be
get in.
use
We can get into that.
and the powers that be used technology that they had to detriment, to our betterment, and
Mhm.
to ensure that we don't flourish and become what we were intended to be. Each
So they're
gift
definitely.
individual and special and divine in purpose.
And when you know how they're keeping us down, it is. I mean, it's both a blessing and a burden, right, Paul? I mean, you know that it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch all this happen.
Oh,
Very, very
yes.
hard, very hard,
Oh, yes, yes.
especially now,
Oh, yes, especially now. Absolutely. It's
right? So
been hard.
part of the guilty Catholic in me is like, why didn't I put this out here 10, 12 years ago
Yeah.
when I really wanted to, when I was going through a period of high vibing and creation just coming through me.
Hmm.
In that case, it was in the form of it came out in poetry. This way, it's coming out different, but it's
Yeah.
still it's another kind of I don't know creative tear I'm on right now, and but it's coming out different this time. But so anyways, yeah. So where were we at? So we speak. So yeah, the idea that it's thought, emotion, and
Yeah.
then
Polarity,
the first
vibration.
action, the first action, thought, emotion, and the first action
Yep.
is to speak, is the actually to speak it. That's when it
Word.
becomes physical. But then you got to act. Then you got to act on those words. That's
Yeah.
why
Isn't
words
that
have so much
something, eh?
power. That's
Yeah.
how words have so much power, and
And
that's one of the main
singing too.
ways that we're controlled, right?
And even sound like singing
And
can bless. It has so
oh
much
man, like,
power.
and this is all the real medicine. This is all the
Yeah,
real holistic medicine, right? And
exactly.
uh and then the power of symbolism,
Yeah.
because you'll think of words when you look at a symbol, but a symbol can silently program you in
Yeah.
certain ways. And
Yep.
they know, and they do have knowledge of how it works,
And
of how
Wi-Fi.
you perceive certain numbers and shapes and things, and
Yep.
how it invokes emotion in you and stuff like that, right?
And the vibration,
So,
and
I mean, are they
they in the ether they use the Wi-Fi and the 5G, and they penetrate that
right?
way.
Yeah, and there's all this technology. I mean, thought they were good 100 years ago. Well,
Yeah.
you
It's all
know, what
military.
can they do now?
Even our light
Yeah, it
bulbs are
is.
military grade. Our light bulbs are anything that says smart on it is stupid.
Right. And I can't wait
Everything.
to. I'm gonna run away to El Salvador and join Murph's life's mission because he's probably he's probably on the leading edge of creating enlightened society in El
Yeah.
Salvador. I'm gonna go down there and help him out, and I'm gonna throw
Yep.
this phone in the ocean.
Just friggin' commune
And that,
together. And we can't build a bunker. They
yeah,
got bunker bombs. So I mean, there's no point in digging a hole.
yeah. So the first action to speak it into existence, right?
Right. Yep.
And then so what comes first is will. So that's what. So the creator given us free will,
Hmm.
but there's conditions with the will, right?
Yep.
It has to follow
Yeah. If you will.
basically the principle. I'll call it the principles of nature.
Yep.
You could say lowercase l laws of nature that get into the
Yep.
seven
Hundred
principles,
percent. Hundred
but the
percent.
overarching, the only real law is based on will and
Hmm.
free will choice.
Yep.
The condition is so long as you do not intentionally harm other people.
Yep. You can have the
Pretty
will to stand in front of
straightforward.
a. You can stand in front of a train, and that's free will, and cause and
Sure.
effect will happen, and you have the will to do that if
Yeah,
you
and
get. Yep.
yeah, and then but and so that we're going to get into talking about what's right and wrong. Well, if you're so let's talk about that right now. So based on will, so let's say that free will choice and will is what is the law, is the law. The law of free will is the law, but free will under natural law, we could say natural lowercase law,
Hmm.
right? Because it's kind of like will is what encompasses the seven principles or the seven laws or the seven,
Yep.
let's say, lowercase l law principles. Because sometimes you hear it described as the natural law principles, but it's understood that you know that's operating under, or I should say the the real over the one law, that the one law of free will is, well, it's God. So it's omnipresent. It encompasses this. This is in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you have everything's like that, right? So you have,
Yep.
like, so when you break down duality, you have the yin and yang, and you can say, okay, well, that's a dualistic nature, but automatically it becomes a three, it becomes a trinity, because you have the two parts, it's the sum.
Coexisting, a
And we're
polarity.
gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this down here, and it's gonna get really fun. But yeah,
It's
so,
like
right,
op.
because we,
It's up. Yeah. It's either if you're dark or light. Those polarities represent an extension of a continuum,
Mm. So
yin and
when we
yang.
go, so when we get down to arithmetic here, that's the basic. That's the first equation, right? One plus one.
Three,
One
six,
plus one
nine.
equals one. It's the so it's the sum of the parts. So in the equation, there's three. So if you take it holistically, the whole equation, it's three. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And the sum of the parts is on the other side of the equal sign, which means
Yep.
this
And
together,
it's
right?
Tesla.
Pretty
Tesla was big
simple.
on
Pretty
three.
simple.
369.
And
That
that's the
was
first that's the
that's the
first
first one.
equation
Yep.
to Fibonacci sequence,
Absolutely.
right? As we go into that,
That's
and
great
that's
though.
going to It's going to
It,
get real fun then building
it's
communities
yeah,
around
it's
those kind
great.
of numbers, eh, buddy?
It's getting simplified though.
Just
We're
like,
we're just
right?
doing it in layman's terms, and that's the best way is just to get a
Well,
clear perspective of what's going on.
it's
And
very simple. It's very simple concepts. You can teach this to your children, and this should be taught in school. So there's another way of looking at it, right? Is the Vesica
mhm,
Pisces.
yep.
And I could do this, I could do this. Look, and it says Pisces. I can do that. Well, what's that? I mean, that's can be a lot of things, the Yanni.
Oh no, the top is blurry.
But oh sorry, but it's
The bottom is clear,
Pisces
but the top is
Pisces,
blurry.
and you see this as a symbol of Jesus. I'm sorry. Why is it all blurred?
Yeah, it got blurry.
Well, you know what I'm saying? You see that as, can you see it down here? So you see you
Yep.
see this. You see this, you know. And people have a bumper sticker like that and it says Jesus in it. Well, that's what that is. Why? Because it's the balanced being, right? It has it's the being that is here. So here's your polarity, here's your line, here's your negative, here's your positive. There, if you're there, you're balanced. And balance is everything. Balance is this concept right here, the positive, the negative and the positive, and the median and the balance around this
Mm-hmm.
is also probably the highest scientific law as well, because all dynamics are this. It's you know, and
It's a
the
spark.
one the one Walter Russell book I did read was what was it? The Message of the Divine Iliad was his first one. It's not very big, and his material is hard to get into. But I'm about to go to the Walter and Leo Russell University of Science and Philosophy. I think I might be ready soon. So, anyways, but so here, all dynamics can be explained through that, right? Whether it's electricity, whether it's the flow of
Yep.
electrons, whether it's the flow of water, whether it's the flow of wind, it doesn't matter. There's something's out of balance, so flow happens,
Yep.
and we'll get into this. That's actually the principle of rhythm. So, but anyways, I'm jumping ahead now. I get excited. I get excited and I jump ahead. But
Universe lead to a
so
cause of creation.
let's wrap this part up really quick. So okay, so know the creator through the creation. So the law, free will is the law, and these are the principles in the lowercase law. So basically, so when you ask yourself, and when you're under, like, when you it's always free will under natural law,
Mm-hmm.
under nature. So you have no right to break the laws of nature, because then you're doing harm not only to your self and other people, but like to the planet, to everything that's the creator's creation, everything that's you know
Do you have a
you
light
have
in
no
front of
right to do
you?
you have no right to do that.
Do you have a light in front of you?
I'm sorry.
You're
Yeah,
getting really dark.
yeah, I'm sorry.
You're
Here,
starting
just
to
give me a second.
disappear. You're slowly disappearing. You're vanishing.
Yeah,
The sunlight, the lighting has changed. There we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Yeah, now I have to go to the bathroom. Can you
I
just
know I'm
keep it
preaching. I
going?
know I'm preaching to the choir here, buddy, but we could have more of a free flow, open to thing. This
Yeah,
I don't
yeah, for sure.
really. What's
Yes, brother.
this? Host wants to change your camera. Oh, can I X that
Oh,
out?
no,
Host
don't.
wants to
No. Oh, yeah,
change
I
your
already did
camera
it.
to Rob's 8.
Yeah,
Deny
don't say
accept.
anything. No,
Don't. Okay.
don't.
Don't accept it?
Because I already did it
Okay, okay.
directly
It's
on
just
the
kind of like
screen.
right in the middle of my screen. I guess there's no.
Oh, is it?
If I press accept, will it go away? Like it says,
Yes.
host wants to
Yes.
change your camera to
Yep.
Roxanne. So if I just press
Yep.
it's kind of bugging me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if you click the chat, you can see what
Oh
everyone
no.
says.
What happened?
You are resetting.
Change to
Oh, it's
Rob's
okay.
Kenny. Oh no.
I
See, I shouldn't
think
have
I
touched
have
anything.
permission. I think I have permission to use your camera now. Let's see.
I think I'm in
Uh,
trouble. Did that just switch to
no.
my phone?
Um, I don't know what happened.
Oh shoot.
Oh, I'll say replace. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Um, you can try logging out and logging back
I told you.
in.
Don't touch any buttons.
Whatever you
Oh
do,
no,
don't
Paul. Why
touch
did I
that.
do that?
Don't push the red button. That's okay. That's
Oh,
okay. Yeah, just leave and come back,
okay.
and then it'll be fine.
Okay,
I'll
so
let you back in.
is there anything going on with this phone? Sorry about that.
I do want to summarize.
Holy
It's okay.
smokes, wait.
Uh, maybe I could do it on here. Let's see.
See, now I
Camera.
just have
Oh,
a
okay.
circle going around. Okay, host wants to change your camera to yeah, okay.
Will you
Yeah,
let me
see,
do
I
it?
messed up because it said change it to my phone and I pressed accept. My bad.
Uh,
Okay, good.
I
Thank you,
I did that
Mr.
very early.
Techie.
Now I got to reverse the camera again. Boom.
Thank
There
you.
we go.
Okay, so yeah, the time's flying, eh? So
Oh, don't worry about
so
time.
okay, so so what's this kind of goes into like what's our rights? What is right? What's right and what's wrong? Well, it's hard to describe what's right because enlisted, because it's anything we want to do is right. That we have the right to do it. So long as we're not intentionally harming other people or other and or the earth, we're being good stewards of the earth and that is as well, right? But doing as little harm to that as possible, and unintentional harms are going to happen. You're going to step on ants and stuff. So but it's the intentional part, right? That you don't intentionally harm other people. I should say other innocent people who haven't harmed anybody else, right? Because that kind of needs to be understood, because it's not saying that it's because we're not saying that there's never a time where you don't take away somebody else's freedom, right? Because if they're going around taking away everybody's freedom, that they're gonna have to be stopped because it's not right. So a right is whatever we want to do, so long as we're not intentionally harming other people. A wrong, however, is doing things we are harming other people, intentionally harming other people. That's wrong. That needs to be. You need to go. You need to be punished for that because you're breaking this. That's a no. So our society's breaking down because of this. We're letting people get away with intentionally harming, putting them right back out on the street again to do it again. And you can't build a society on that. You can't. It'll break down. Also, you can't build on a society on theft, because all of this breaks down to, like, when you say what's right and what's wrong, you say, well, and breaking free will choice basically just comes down to theft. It's theft. That's the golden rule. The golden rule is don't steal. Plain and simple. And you could say to that, don't lie or steal, but it's still even a lie is kind of a form of theft. But all the commandments, whether it's the 10 commandments of Christianity, whether it's the 20, I think it's 22 of Mott in Egyptian, all the lists of what your guidelines for the golden rule and stuff. Basically, they just come down to don't steal. So it's a pretty simple concept. So if our society is based on theft, and we say, okay, well, because they have that title or they have this organizational structure, they're exempt from that and they're allowed to steal from everybody. Or
Yep.
or they have this organizational structure and they're exempt from that. So these people, because they have these credentials that we gave them, they're allowed to harm other people.
Right. Yep. By
when
title.
when even when so they have some authority where they can harm other people, but the thing is they're only supposed to harm the people that are harming other people, not the people who are innocent. It's the innocent that's the line, right?
Yeah.
If they're innocent people, you have no right to harm them for being for exercising, to doing anything they want.
Yeah.
So for example, if there's a peaceful demonstration like we've seen in Ottawa, nobody has any right to harm people if they're not what I mean? This is pretty basic stuff.
Yep.
So whoever harmed these folks that were exercising their rights to do what they pleased because they were not intentionally harming anybody else,
Hmm.
then that's wrong. It doesn't matter if they had a badge. It doesn't matter who they worked for. It doesn't matter, and it's the same with, and freezing the bank accounts.
Yep.
That's that could do a lot of harm, man. People couldn't have access to their money. What does that mean? They can't
Yep.
feed their kids, like, you know what I mean? And that can spiral out of control pretty quickly because you know,
They really revealed themselves the last 5 years.
because it's destructive. And if you get into leading with destructive behavior, it's basically gonna be like an atom bomb that, they figured out the atom bomb by it wasn't just splitting the atom that made it so powerful. It was figuring
Hmm.
out the chain reaction.
Cause and effect. That's one of the principles of
Cause
Hermetic
and
Alchemy.
effect. And
Yep.
and so you gotta be very careful if you're leading with the force of destruction. Actually, you should never do it because
No.
because creation overpowers destruction.
Yeah.
So if you want something destroyed, all you do is create something better. It's just gonna naturally take it over.
Hmm.
So I feel we always have to lead with that, right? Because
Hmm.
if not, there's gonna be like there's it's gonna get way more destructive before it gets better.
Hmm.
So we don't want to see that, right? We're trying to avoid total societal breakdown and civil unrest and
Hmm.
total chaos and civil war and those sort of things, which is actually
Yep.
the opposite of anarchy. We'll get into that later. There's another word that everybody's freaked out
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. And there's a
So
dualism right down to the cell structures, genders. Each cell has a male and female gender, and they
right,
divide. They
right,
divide and go on their own way and do their own thing. And it's they have
yeah,
their own. They have their own roles. Like the male becomes the structure, the bones and the muscles, where the feminine becomes the reproductive, vegetation, organs, and the gut. So they all go to their own purpose, their own will, and they
it's
divide.
fascinating. It's fascinating. It's fascinating exploring all that and contemplating
Sure,
all that stuff.
absolutely. Like we
The
have a
different
mother,
roles and the masculine and feminine and gender roles is probably my favorite.
but we were created by a mother and a father, so we automatically get something from both.
Now,
And I,
I would say that with it can get confusing with like Christian symbolism because it's
mhm.
father, it's
Me, it's father, mother, child. That's the
right.
Trinity
So
for me.
what's happened is I think it's maybe thought of, maybe it was kind of pushed this way that it's all viewed as male.
Hmm.
Even Holy Spirit, when Holy Spirit is actually the feminine, right? That's why you have Mary and
Yeah.
Mary, Mother of God, Mary Magdalene, and everything is, the dove and all that stuff is. I mean, the dove is, and the dove feather and the symbolism of the dove is very similar to First Nations symbol of the eagle
Thunder,
feather and how
the
the
Thunderbird.
eagle bringing heaven down to earth and
Yep. Yep.
being the messenger and communicator
Yeah.
between all the realms.
Yeah. I did
And
a show on
that's
that because I'm Métis,
yeah.
so yeah, it's the Thunderbird that sends. We communicate to the Creator using the Thunderbird. It brings messages, carries messages to heaven. It flies higher than the eagle, and it's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And in Inca culture, it's oh shoot, it's
Do you have a
condor.
different? Oh
The
yeah.
condor is the spirit animal. Yeah, the condor is the
Mm,
spirit animal, and the same symbolism, right?
yep.
Hey, that's how we're so connected. I got
Yep.
some French in me too, and it's and my grandmother came through. My great grandmother came through Newfoundland, so it's possible she was very dark complected. So there's a possibility that there could be some First Nations in there somewhere. I mean,
It's
it was.
incredible, man.
Yeah,
I
like
knew
I
it was
never had
good.
my genealogy done, but like I'm very dark
Mm,
complected too. A lot of French people are,
hmm.
but yeah, and I have it both on my mother's side and my father's side. But and plus a blend of probably probably mostly French and Irish and maybe Scottish and then a little bit English. But so yeah, so I really connect with it. So I'm really lately when when you get connected with your ancestry, right? Like I'm getting pretty connected to my Celtic roots.
Hmm.
So and it's cool.
It's very exciting.
So
Yeah.
yeah, very. And then and then you search the history of it. It's like, man, we've been a lot of times when we were oppressed, we were genocided, we were,
Yeah.
and happened. That's happened to like just about every culture. There's been those who have been used and abused and subjected by the state authority, right? And
Yeah.
genocided and horrific things, you know. And there's many in Celtic culture, in Celtic the history of the Celts. Um, even like the whole Irish the flee in Ireland, like we were displaced from our homeland, and that's why we came
Yeah.
to North America because you know we didn't want tyrants raping our wives and children and stuff, right? And
Hmm.
being
We
put in
don't
the
want it
crap load,
still.
going
We
to
still,
jail
we
because
still,
we didn't pay our tax that like we couldn't even friggin' afford because if not we'd starve to death.
we,
Anyways,
we
a lot of
still don't want it.
atrocities that were going on and all.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
that's probably
For
enough of
sure.
that. Let's keep it positive.
Yeah.
So so yeah, so that's kind of
But I
people
think,
seem to be getting confused about the right and wrong thing because somebody can't say, okay, now you have permission to do wrong behavior and harm
yeah,
other people
yep,
when they're innocent and they haven't committed any crime, they haven't committed any violent crime.
yep,
So how do you have the right to harm these people? How does government structures have the right to steal our money without our
yep,
consent?
yep,
And give it to you can give all the sob stories you want to less fortunate people and this and that, but that needs to be a choice. That needs to be it. If it's like
hmm,
this, if the economy, if the economics is not based in in volunteerism, it's tyranny, plain and simple. You can't steal from people. You're breaking the law.
yep.
That's all there's to it.
But
Period. Full stop.
I am very, very concerned though, because there's one species that, you know, do as thou wilt. There's a species that just isn't like any of the others, whereas the male species has like very limited, options. The praying mantis. I mean, those poor guys. I mean,
Uh,
once, one time,
right.
one time they had their will, and boom. But
Oh yeah.
little off topic, but yeah, I don't
Dude,
understand why they had to
yeah.
suffer.
So I mean, I don't know. I think that's probably all I wanted to get across with that, with the whole will thing, and just like,
Hmm. Yeah,
basically what it comes down to is the golden rule is do no harm, take no shit. That's it. And the take no shit part is important because you need
yeah,
to defend. You really need to defend yourself and other people from those who are
yeah.
intentionally harming for no
Right.
reason,
Yep.
because they haven't committed a crime. They haven't intentionally harmed anybody else. So
Yeah.
we need to stand up for ourselves when it comes to that, and we need to stand up for other people when it comes to that. And that's it.
Um,
And that's what I think the
yep.
spiritual, mental, physical warrior does.
Yeah. And I think we're
And
going through catalysm.
we really need to bring those types of people together who are balanced in the whole thing, and as balanced as they can be, because we'll see how we'll talk about how people can behave and think about things when they're in an extreme state of left brain imbalance and an extreme state of right brain imbalance, because either way it doesn't matter when you think of extreme capitalism, extreme communism, and these forms, they both lead to tyranny, period. They're both can be fully controlled. If you have a society built on crazy capitalism, crazy disaster capitalism, it's going to break down just as much as if you have a society that's it's crazy communism is forced on people. It's still the tyrants get full control of the state and it becomes a totalitarian state. That's
Yeah.
it,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. We've
And
seen
it's the
that.
same thing as us as individuals. If we're out of balance, if we're extremely out of balance left and right, then left or right, then we're going to be controlled by the
Yeah.
puppet masters, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, so then we get into the principles. So,
Yeah.
this is kind of how it works, right? And then, and
Mhm.
the first one, actually, the principle of mentalism, is
Yep.
kind of the one that I feel like is not really
Quantum.
a
It's on a
not really a
quantum level.
polarity
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Not
It's a
really a
quant.
polarity thing. That's why I listed this one kind of by itself, and then
Yeah.
the six other ones are kind of more,
Yeah.
So in the Kabbalion, they say when you initiate yourself into this material, which nobody can initiate you, by the way, you can only initiate yourself. So anyone who's saying they can
No. I no. It's true.
initiate into anything,
Yep. It's like
don't
I
do
want to
it.
get
Don't
it.
trust.
It's like I want to get a drink of water, so I will it. My mentalism is making it a reality by it happening. I'm willing it to happen.
Are we allowed to take a quick break?
We can. We can. And I can
Okay,
just read
'cause I
out
need a
the
break too.
seven
I
tenets of
gotta,
Satan. Yeah, you want to have
sure.
a smoke or something? We can take a short break.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you want to, can you see this?
Um,
Because
let me check.
can you read? Can I move it closer? Because I mean,
Yeah. You mean
you know all about this stuff
yeah?
like I
Come
do.
closer.
Preaching to the choir here,
I would go
but
pretty
yeah.
much
So
closer. Yeah, even more. And turn it
is it light? Well, I
clockwise
see a
or
light.
counterclockwise.
Oh
Yep,
shoot!
yep.
I see a
Oh
light
yeah,
on it.
it's getting better. It's
Oh,
getting really good. Go the other direction. Now go towards yourself
you want it this way? Okay.
and put your side
Oh
forward.
wait a minute. What I might do is it? What if I do this number?
That's perfectly even in the middle center.
But it's kind of this, right? Like so in my view, the all is mind, or the principle of mentalism,
Hmm.
is actually this part,
Will,
is
love.
will and love and all this mind stuff
Yep.
before
Yeah.
um it's spoken into existence, or before it's taken
Yep.
action on.
Yep. Yep.
You know what
Thought.
I mean?
It's our thoughts.
That's the way I think about it. And
creating
so this one's
reality.
kind of different. It's more, and I almost feel like it's that this is the primordial, this is the source, intelligent infinity, that the all is mind actually is permeates through the other six.
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
you
I
get
think
this, it's
so.
same thing is up here, right? Where
Yeah, yep.
it's like
It does.
it's the
No, I,
sum, but it permeates through the, you know what I
yep,
mean? You
100%.
know what I'm trying to
You're
say? I don't know if I'm saying that,
no,
if I'm
no, it's
saying that
perfect.
right, to get the point across.
It's
But you know
perfect.
what I mean? It's kind of like that's all this other stuff is kind of contained in this, I would say.
Yep. Vibration, correspondence, polarity,
Yeah,
rhythm,
I'll be right back, Paul.
and
You go for it. You go for it. Take over the
they're all
classroom.
the. Oh yeah, yep, yep. So correspondence, Euclidean geometry, fractal geometry, um, as above, so below. And these are all like secondary to the mentalism. Then we have vibration. Everything is vibrating. Energy is force creating matter. And then we have polarity, where opposites are equal. You have the yin and the yang together and opposite, like the left side of the brain, the right side of the brain. There's where you have the polarities represent an extension of a continuance. Then we got rhythm. All actions are energy vibrations, like a wave in the ocean. You can ride the wave. You can ride the rhythm. It's a flow. Indigenous people understand this nature, uh, and that the creator is the same thing. It's not separate. It's there. It's heavily involved and heavily invested. And you see how all these work together, and we have cause and effect, action causing reaction, like dominoes. All the waves and things in the universe lead to a cause of creation. The energy creator is not a person. Thought is creative energy. And energy interact with energy. Uh, Brain is divided into two polarities, like I said before, and the last one is gender. Cells have both male gender associated with structure and movement, and a female characteristic, vegetation and reproduction. The male structures the bones and the muscles, females the organs and the gut, taking care of the metabolism. Cells began to split due to differences of their functions, and that's why they split, because they have different functions. But all function in totality is already there in the initiation of it happening. And then they go to their roles. One the cell goes to the bone and becomes bone, and the other one becomes the gut, and the organs. So they all
See, this is
function during the pregnancy, the initiation of the love, right? The creation of the baby, and that's when they just all split up and they go to their own thing. One starts doing dishes, and one's cleaning the windows, taking out the garbage. So they all have their roles within that creation, and that's the beautiful thing about Hermetic alchemy is just it looks at it and it explains simply how it's all connected. Welcome back.
thank you. And yeah, we can get into how we break things down too, because like really the alchemical practice. And by the way, I'd like to point out too, when we were talking about this, that this idea and in alchemy, so we started kind of getting into like where Christianity can kind of be, you kind of get sort of be misled by
Yeah,
the idea that like people think a Holy Spirit is like that it's all male, and that
right.
Jesus as the balanced being was depicted as male. Well,
Yeah,
in Hermetic alchemy, the balanced being is predicted
mother,
is
father, child.
pictured as a hermaphrodite.
Yeah, mother, father together. Yes, male, female together.
Right. Yeah, and
Initially,
then you also have other symbolism of that, be of that balance being
Yep.
Siamese twins,
Yin
and
yang.
having both sexes, because
Yep.
sex and gender are different. We're going to clear that up too.
Which is also Baphomet, one of the gods. Baphomet has both. He can F himself.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. That's right. And that was,
The trans movement source.
well,
The
yeah.
source of it
And
all
but
from
still, it
there.
was that was the idea of that symbol, even of Baphomet, was that Baphomet encompasses both.
It basically sums up what we're talking about. How each
But it's
cell is
still, but it's
each
still,
cell.
but
It
But maybe
represents
that's
really
dangerous.
creation,
Maybe
right?
that's kind of dangerous. Yeah, maybe that's kind of dangerous too, because that connects gender to sex, and they're
They're
really
not.
not connected.
No,
They're
they're
not
not.
at all. Not at
But
all.
but you see the similarities there. How um, they're the same concept on a cellular level, but they're not sex. They're not gendered, but they do have roles that they are different. And that's why I always say, men and women weren't don't have roles in a relationship. They're meant for each other to just assume what they, you know what I mean, just to will themselves on the other, to be yourself on the other, to not harm them.
Exactly. 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 So it's all about the individual discovering their true self, whatever that may be, whatever that may be. And how that plays out as far as their gender orientation to their sex is accepted. If you're a person who, or I don't know if person's a bad another word that I got to try to avoid, but if you're an individual that you know as long as you're true, as long as you're being your true, you feel like if you're being your true self,
Yeah.
that's good. That's what needs to be nurtured.
Yes.
What that looks like. If that means you're an effeminate man, that's fine. If that
Yeah.
means you're a boy
Sure.
who likes to
Hmm.
do certain behaviors, and this all this gender
Yeah.
biased
And
stuff
unfortunately,
is
they're warring with us on a chemical level with what they're putting in the milk and all these sorts of things. They're turning frogs, male frogs, homosexual. So I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. So I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. That
you
probably
know,
has an effect too on us for sure, for
that to me
sure.
is like the war
Uh,
against us by
and a lot
unnaturally
of it's
changing
and
us.
some of it's intentional too, right? Like some of it's intentional because they don't want the divine the divine I'm sorry, the balanced being is the biggest threat to the state,
Oh yes,
because
agreed.
the masculine aspect of that being is gonna fight. They're gonna
Yeah,
stand up. They're gonna
yeah.
stand up for natural law,
Hmm.
right? They're gonna stand up for those that are being harmed, and they're gonna stand up for themselves if they're being harmed, right? So that's
And
they don't
that
want us fighting back, right?
exactly.
So
So if I turn into a woman, I promise to be a good wife.
well, I'm already married, Paul, so oh, and happy anniversary, sweetie. Te amo mucho. Today's my anniversary.
Yeah, I think
It's
we co-
in
I think we covered it very well.
it's done on solstice for obvious reasons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
congratulations, brother.
or I'm sorry,
And
equinox. Did I just say solstice? Equinox, equal, balance. So,
just to be clear, I wasn't proposing to you there. Eh?
hey,
I'm
buddy.
just saying if.
Whatever.
So anyway, happy
um,
anniversary.
thank you. So that's known as the alchemical wedding, right?
Right.
It is the realization to be balanced in all of these, to be balanced in all of these is no is and to be the balance, becoming the balanced being that's known as the alchemical wedding,
Yeah.
right? And that and the masculine and feminine producing the gender balanced offspring is the alchemical wedding and birth, even, right? So we could probably plow these through these pretty quickly. The principle of correspondence: as above, so below; as within, so without. So people shouldn't be getting all freaked out about all the layers of meaning to um, dogmatic religious symbolism, where that you're recognizing the astrotheological uh meanings of it, because as above, so below. It's as the microcosm, so the macrocosm; as within, so without. All that stuff. So I don't know why everybody gets all freaked out about the idea of Jesus as Venus, for example, and a messenger of the rising of the sun, because it's why you I don't understand why religious fanatics are all threatened about that. And because, oh well, that's pagan or whatever. But we're talking about a guy who was teaching the people of the country, right? Which look up the root, look up the etymology of the word pagan. I don't want to. I don't. I'm going to get. I'm going to get really demonized now. But it's basically people of the country. He was in the middle of the city, like he was teaching out on this rock, build the church, and fish and mustard seeds and whatnot, and using nature as to for people to understand, or for
Hmm.
people to come to know themselves and
Hmm.
him.
Yeah, we have to
You
think
know.
about this as not a religious, not not a doctrine, but uh, like a soup, with beans and carrots, and you have ingredients and physical things that you can look at. This is the physical, chemical uh, principles of what's going
Yeah.
on before us, and understanding it and looking at it. Okay, that's rice, and that's corned beef, and just making sense of it, and bringing it to the table, the truth table.
And diversity is key in nature, especially you get to know that hands on when you're into regenerative agriculture and building regenerative community. And Vandana Shiva talks all about it. Like,
Hmm.
diversity is key. Once you understand, this is another concept, biomimicry, right? Like we come to understand nature, so we can apply it to our lives, and have we can live to our fullest potential, because we're getting the fullest potential out of the way we grow food, or
Yeah.
the way we grow livestock, or we you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Yeah.
So because we know we don't need to spray chemicals everywhere for pesticides and herbicides and
Nope.
stuff. You
Nope.
could put a toad house in your garden to take care. You can plant marigolds, or you can plant nitrogen fixers next to nitrogen. What, like, the more you understand nature and live in harmony with it, the more you get to know yourself, the more we thrive, and the more we live to our
Yeah.
fullest potential.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's all part of this. That's all
Yeah.
living under natural law.
Hmm.
Right? Natural law means the laws and the principles of nature, and we are nature.
But if
And
you do
everything else
feel,
in the living, everything else that has consciousness flowing through it
hmm,
is also that, right? So, I mean, we could say right down to the atom.
hmm,
And then the idea that too, that we just going to throw this one out there, that, like, okay, there's the particle and the wave, and different combinations of that make up the whole physical universe. But also we could keep in mind too that, like, when we picture an atom in our minds and all this stuff that seems solid, it's actually 99.9% empty space, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
this is where you get the teachings of
that's,
emptiness and stuff too. I mean, that's
yeah,
definitely part of some of
yeah,
the Eastern teachings. Is that because it actually is? It actually is. When you think about an atom, it's 99 point whatever, 5 or 9 or whatever,
yep,
empty space. And that electron spinning so fast around the nucleus is in the Gnostic tradition. we kind of differentiate it and talk and call that an apparition, because it's actually a natural, it's like a natural illusion. It's not an illusion that's a trick and that's
Hmm.
spun in order so we misunderstand nature,
Hmm.
because that's being done on a bit in a big way.
Yep.
And it's not, it has nothing to do with magic. It has nothing to do with using source energy to manifest anything,
Mm.
which is sorcery. I'm just gonna be really open about this. So, if people think that's a bad word, they want to kill me for saying for talking about magic and sorcery. Well,
I, I know,
I don't
man.
know. I'm gonna tell you, once I get all this out there in Paul's show, whatever happens, happens. So
Well,
that's where I'm
we're
at.
standing in the truth, and that's what matters here. And these are things that people don't hear, and that's the beauty
Right.
of this show. Is it's not about me, it's not about popularity, it's about the truth.
But it's fine when you read the books, like everybody's fine
Yeah,
with Tales of Don Juan and Carlos Castaneda books and talking about sorcery and shamanism and all this stuff. And then
yeah,
and then Dr. Wayne Dyer takes that information and writes one of the most pivotal books that I read early on was The Power of Intention. And when you're
yeah,
when you're when you're practicing manifesting and creating, its intention is everything.
yeah.
And the intention needs to be on this stuff.
That starts right at the beginning.
Right.
The will to do
Yeah.
good, the will
To
to save your
create
country,
and yes.
the will to protect your fellow man.
And the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Well, what did the alchemist become at the end? He became the sorcerer. So I'm not going to be shy about I'm taking the words back. And
Yeah,
in Canada,
me too.
what triggered me to do this in the first place is
Not gonna.
what they're doing with these new bills that are becoming laws
Yeah,
that are
right.
limiting our use of words and symbolism.
Yes.
So the gloves are off for me. That's why I'm putting this out here right now.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I've been paying attention too. And I'll tell you, the seven tenets of Satan, nobody would even believe it. And that's the thing about reading and just reading, just hear what people have to say, because it's not at all what you thought it would be.
Yeah,
That's
I
how
just got the.
brainwashed.
I'm just going over the. I'm just going to do
Oh yeah,
there's four main ones, but then
yeah, yeah,
okay, so this here is pretty straightforward, right? As above, so below. As within, without vibration, everything's moves, everything's in motion,
yes,
and here's what creates the motion.
mm-hmm,
It's because well, there's always motion, but like even whether it's our thoughts, whether it's a river, whether
yep,
it's the wind, whether it's whatever,
mm-hmm,
if it's average here, it's still in movement. It's
yep,
still in motion. Everything's in motion just because, you
mm-hmm,
know, the universe is spinning around the sprawling arms, and we're doing a wave pattern as we spin around the universe, and then you got us going around the sun, and there's a lot of motion happening. So but there is an average median, like let's say wind speed, and so it can be very calm outside, or it could be very, just because it's like the wind is very calm doesn't mean there's no breeze at all. I mean, but it can get down there that there's hardly any breeze at all. But
mm-hmm.
the way it becomes a hurricane is because one side gets out of balance and then the other side's trying to get to equilibrium,
Yep. But a good
right?
example is
So
seen through telescope of movement, and this is a good example like of a cell. Let's see if I can't get a better shot here.
this is how we get
Yeah.
electricity to move. And this is very important. This has to do with health and everything. So, like, if you think about this here, and let's go through these first, though. So it's, sorry, did I cut you off there?
Nope,
You
I was
were
just
saying
showing a
something?
star. Just showing a star there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So vibration, everything moves. Polarity is, this to do
Yep.
plus the plus minus the positive negative the
Yep.
masculine feminine
Left side of the brain,
balance
right side,
being
left and right
left
side of the
brain right
brain.
brain,
Yep.
yes, and that all comes into play down here.
Hmm.
So then rhythm is like a picture of the ocean, tides, waves flowing in and out.
Guitar
There's
string.
or think of one of the best examples is think of your breathing. Think of your breathing, your guitar.
Yep. The
Think of your
vibration of the
breathing, the
guitar.
in breath, the out breath.
Yep.
Think of
Yep.
the of oh shoot, what else did I said it in my mind? That's another thing, mind. I'll get back to that, but yeah, everything ebbs and flows in and out. Hopefully, the pendulum's going to swing back the other way here.
Up and down. Yeah. No
um,
shit.
and so then karma. So karma is simply, you have people say, "Oh, I don't believe in karma. There's not, whatever." But that's science. This is. I mean, it's all part of this arts and sciences. But in like even this here, there's science to this.
Hmm.
This is all this stuff's provable. Like it's not like this is. So when you call us conspiracy theorists, we're not pulling this out of our butt. We're there's science behind this stuff, and philosophy
Yeah.
and all kinds of stuff. So karma is the law of cause and effect, and these control freaks know how to work this. They know how to work this. So there's a
Oh
lot of stuff,
yeah.
right? And we see we and
Yep.
especially this one. I mean, we can go back and talk in more detail, and then gender. So the
Yeah.
masculine and the feminine. It has nothing to do with sex. That there
Yep. Yep.
has to do with let's say left brain, right brain. And we could maybe think of it that way. The creative,
Yes.
caring,
Yes.
imaginative, feminine principles versus
Yep.
the logical, reasonable, more protective kind of masculine principles, right? Um, so the truth of the matter is we're all gender fluid. The the key or what we're trying to get to in the practice is balance. We want to balance all of these in order for our chakras to be fully open and be the best transmitters and receivers that we can be in full flow and live to our full potential and all that stuff.
Yep.
All this is all the spiritual practices about this becoming balanced. And then
Hmm.
also like our brain and heart becoming balanced as well. Or I shouldn't say balanced because but being everything's processed through it's processed through all of our energy centers, really, through all of our main nodes, energy nodes, our chakras, mainly the brain and the heart, but the heart is some 10 times more powerful as a bioelectronic device than the brain. So our main energy center is the heart, and that's why the heart chakra is in the middle. That's why green's in the middle. Green is the most plentiful color on the planet. Um, Green's the center of the rainbow. There's all kinds of symbolism for that, for green in the heart chakra being the center of ourselves and everything, really. So what else can I say about that? The only thing I really wanted to, okay, so with polarity, first of all, okay, so all is mind, but when we think about this, and I say it permeates through everything, it's because you hear the term the God mind that's permeates everything, it's omnipresent, and that mind is a primordial energy, and it's a collective thing. So when we say, I thought about something in my mind, or thoughts came to my mind, that's actually not really correct. And this is a problem with the English language especially, and it's probably, a lot of it by design. But this is just one example. This kind of happens a lot where when you're talking about this as as within, so without, but it's the same word. So it's good to try to use language that, you know, there's a different word, or at least there's another supporting word that differentiates. Are you talking about the microcosm or the macrocosm? Are you talking about what's in me or what's in outside of me? So it can get confusing. So if you use the word mind, the understanding is that, mind is collective, but if you say my mind, that's kind of like small m mind, but it gets confusing because it's the same word. That's all I'm saying. And so really what we have is we have the faculties to tap into, to get into a flow, to get it to balance these, and to have mind flowing through us is more a proper description. And so we have the faculties to tap into mind, which includes our heart, our brain, um, our energy centers, our chakras, which Sagi Guru says. I was going to play that actually because I mean I'm not a huge fan of him, but of Sagi Guru, but he has a very interesting. I encourage you guys to. It's kind of short clip. I'm talking about Sagi Guru, how he talks about. You ever see the clip that Sagi Guru does about the power of 108? Of He does a clip. It's about the. Oh, I think you're muted. Am I muted?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt you with
How
my
did I get?
coffee and choking.
How did I get
Yeah.
off on that tangent? Oh, I was just
No,
saying how, like,
yep.
how the
No, I
all
could
is
hear
mind.
you.
That's that. Well, actually, what it means. It means the all is mind permeates through everything. So when we say my mind as an individual, it's not really correct. So you got to think about, if you think about my mind, it's like it's small m mind. That's like creator versus co-creator is what it actually is, what it is. So it's good to
Mm.
actually have another, let's have another word for that. See, we can create our own syntax. We can create our own words that we agree on
Yep.
the meaning to describe this in another way that's more accurate. Because when you say
Hmm.
mind, and it can mean both all, it can mean both creator and co-creator. I think it's even almost blasphemous, to be honest with you. So because we don't really have our own individual mind. We have the faculties to tap into the
That's
collective mind
it.
that permeates everything.
Yes.
So,
Which.
and what I was saying, whether it's our and we are probably our brain to it, which is usually thought of as more masculine. We put, even though there's masculine feminine side,
Mhm.
we put our heart to it, especially because that's the most powerful energy center we have by far. And all of our other node points, our energy points, are chakra. And then I got into, like, yeah, there's Sagi Guru says there's 108 chakra. Ones that we can work with, energy nodes in our bodies that we can work with. The seven main ones are connected to a gland, right? So part of spiritual practice is actually learning how to release the chemicals in those glands. So when you talk about Kundalini practice and like Kundalini yoga
Right.
practice and stuff like that, and Grail symbolism and all kinds of stuff comes from the idea that you're raising the energy up your spine, the Kundalini,
Yep.
which is
Yep.
seen as the coiling snake with the coiling snakes, one masculine, one feminine, which is the one of the main part of the symbol of alchemy. And then when it gets to your, now I forget what gland it is. One of the main ones in your brain, and it opens that up. It actually releases. Some believe, and I think there's some evidence for that. It's actually DMT that's released from your own brain. And then if you cut, how you see like the Eye of Horus, and even that picture of God reaching out and touching the angel, or I think that you see in, the guy with the big beard, and he's turned sideways and he's reaching out and his fingers touching, reaching out to touch the finger. That
Yep.
that is the Eye of Horus. that picture. It's the same. You look at the Eye of Horus next to that. That's what it's depicting. So that's a picture of if you split your head into the two hemispheres, you're looking and you look at your brain. That's the Eye of Horus. That's that picture of God. That's the image. That's what the image in. It's a side shot of your brain. If you cut it the other way and look at it from behind, guess what it looks like? A chalice. That's the Grail.
The Grail. Yep.
I'm not saying that that's the be all end all symbol, but that's one of the meanings of the Grail symbolism is actually when you view your brain that way, it does look like a chalice. When the energy goes up, the Kundalini goes up and releases chemicals from that gland, fills the cup, and you get into an enlightened state
Right.
from that, and you can do that in a number of ways with a number of different glands in your body.
Yeah, and the
That
process,
advanced,
I think
but
it's like
I cheat and use
Christos.
plant medicine.
Is it Christos? Isn't it Christos the process like the
Yes,
Christ
yes.
return, Christ within
Yes.
Christ
Christos.
consciousness.
That's the anointment. That's why it's the anointed one. That
Exactly.
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 See how it all comes together? And
See
there's a
how
really good breakdown. I think it's called this. I always want to say it's the secret teachings of Jesus, but it's something like that. But if you look up secret teachings of Jesus, Kundalini Yoga, and there's somebody is cross referencing the New Testament Bible to the practice of Kundalini Yoga. And it's not a coincidence that, like, because we got to remember the symbolism has a lot of layers of meaning, but that's one
right.
layer of meaning that, like, there's something to that. There's something to that line of meaning
Hmm.
of that symbolism. There's something to that for sure. And the
Hmm.
anointed
Yep.
one and it, I mean, you'll be blown away when you see it. Like it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence.
And and darkness, those who practice darkness and do harm, I mean they are still fulfilling their own purpose, correct? Like
Well, yeah, and we'll get it.
by being
We'll get
darkness.
into that. Yeah, that's pretty close. We'll get into that when we get into the tenets of Satanism. Yeah.
Similarities.
So
Similarities are amazing.
yeah. So then with the duet, like with this thing, when you're aware of this stuff and like in the
Yeah.
balance and stuff, and you know how it works, you can intentionally look at this. Like this is how you live to your full potential and stay healthy. Like so, for example, if you know that in your body that if you have a highly acidic diet and you're over here and it's way out of balance, disease is going to thrive in your body
Yep.
because your blood's highly acidic. And there's doctors who have pointed out that if your blood is slightly alkaline on the negative side, that disease is can't thrive in an alkaline environment. So when you look at health, you're looking at this. When you look at everything, you're looking at this, and you're trying to keep it to one side or the other because optimal health, and then the whole thing kind of moves towards health and living up to your fullest potential, right? But so that's like this these simple concepts here explain everything. Like explain everything, whether it's the acidity versus alkaline in your body and optimal health and stuff like that. Like you can work with this if you understand, if you understand how it works. So that's why they say one of the big poisons is sugar, right? I'm sorry, refined sugar. It's the highly acidic diets that is why populations are so unhealthy. So this is just an example. So
Hmm.
if you're slightly alkaline, this side of it's never good to be out of balance either way, but it's it's sometimes it's good to be just on this side of the line, so if because there's other environmental factors that come into it, right? Besides, like, let's say if you're
Yep.
taking in a bunch of white sugar, white flour, white whatever, and you're unhealthy. But you want to try, you want your blood to be you want to try to maintain your blood slightly alkaline. And that's, so this can be explained.
Yep.
You can use this to explain all kinds of stuff. So, rhythm, yeah, like, okay, we covered it all, didn't we? Where were we? Oh yeah, I was just gonna like, oh yeah, karma. So just how this can be hijacked and used against you for control. So in karma, social engineers, what they'll do is they'll separate the cause and effect. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on here. They'll get people thinking, in survival mode, so they can't think into the next day. Like the corporate structure is set up so everybody only thinks to the next quarter, right? They want you thinking as short as possible because meanwhile they're planning 500 years out. So this is why, you hear a lot of kind of religious indoctrinated people believe that, oh, well, what's it going to matter after I die? I don't know, I'm going to be dead and gone. It's a very limited belief
Yeah.
that's put there on purpose, because then you're not thinking, past your own lifespan. And First Nations people are thinking 7 generations out. Well, that's the idea, but this can be used against you to keep your mind thinking short term. And the shorter term, the better. Because if you're in survival mode, you're easily controlled. If
Hmm.
you're even if you can't
Yep.
think of beyond a year, you're easily controlled. Even if you can't think beyond your own lifespan, you're easily controlled. And
Yep.
I don't get people who can't, because they're not like, to me, my offspring are part of me as an individual. That's kind of what happens when you become a parent, right? You like, you know, I used to be an
Yep.
individual, but now, if I have three, then now I'm kind of four in one deal, right? So yeah, I do care about what happens to the world after I pass away. And I'm just going to respawn stronger in the next so this can be karma can be manipulated. Cause and effect can be manipulated in all kind of ways. That's one way. The time lag. So if they can put a cause out there, and if you don't see the effects for 100 years or 10 years or whatever, they can design certain, covert weapons that if you don't see the effects for 5 to 10 years, you may not link it back to the causal factor of it.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to remind people where about the cause. So,
Mm.
they can figure
As we
they can
should.
put it back to what the cause was, because that's very important.
Yep.
And then
Indeed.
also this, so when you so they the mind programmers they mess this up on purpose. That's why they don't even want people to believe there's such a thing as karma, when it's actually a science, and there's an art to applying it. And with gender, it's the same thing. So what we're seeing with all this gender confusion is an attack on this. It's
Yeah.
all an attack on this. This is why this is the most occult knowledge there pretty much is, because it's knowledge of understanding ourselves and our world and our the natural world, and our communities and the whole nine, right?
And the
So
physical properties, so like everything, like right down to the core of it. Yeah. It is
right, I got
a
excited. I'm
power.
kind of hogging the conversation. So I
No,
don't know,
no,
what do
no.
you have any more, do you have any more you'd like to add to the seven principles
No, I
governing
don't
the
want to
universe?
stop you. I don't want to
I
stop you.
would like to say,
But we covered everything.
yes, a good reference, a good material on this is the Kabbalion, where you initiate yourself into Hermetic alchemy. But one of the best I've seen on this. I mean, there's in different books, from the Theosophic Society folks to, I mean, a lot of people talk about this, but or write about it in their books and stuff. But the one that like got me, the one that struck me most is Manly P. Hall did who wrote Secret Teachings of All Ages and
Right.
The Lost Keys of Freemasonry, all kinds of books. Um, he put out a lecture on this. It's long. It's like 3 hours long. But the good thing about Manly P. Hall is that like he is so adversed in all the different traditions and all the different cultures. Is the reason why it takes so long is because he's explaining this in all the languages of symbolism, of
Yep. Yep.
of their tradition, of their religion, of their, and that's how you know that it's, that's one way that you know it's true. It holds it because truth holds up to everything. Scientific scrutiny,
Exactly.
the philosophy behind it, the history of it,
Yep.
everything, right? And so when you apply this to it, I mean, especially when you apply this part to it, it basically comes down to Occam's razor. You take the information and then that's how you separate truth from lies. It's a skill. It's learning this stuff and then applying it. And you'll see how people that have been the best, especially examples of creators of art, but they were always into science. So when you look at somebody like Da Vinci, it's very clear what he was doing. He was doing this. Sir Isaac, is it? Yeah, I think it was Newton. Was Newton the dude that I can't remember sometimes.
Isaac Newton.
Was Newton the dude? Was Newton the dude that I know he did gravity, but was he also the guy that said the sun was the center of the solar system, not the Earth, and got in a bunch of shit
Oh, right.
Roman Catholic Church? That was Newton, right? Pretty sure it was, or was that somebody else? I don't know.
I
I
think
get
so.
confused. I maybe get mixed up. But anyways, yeah, I
But
think it was.
someone
I'm
did
pretty
do
sure
it.
it was Newton.
Someone said it.
But he did so much writing and research and literature on science, that kind of
Yeah.
science, like gravity and uh, down here, astronomy. This is where he was at. Um, but
Disguise. Yep.
he put out twice as much material on alchemy as he did anything else. Because a lot of
Yep.
times in history, this had to go underground. This is, when the Dark Ages hit, this all became taught in secret schools and secret societies, because
Hmm.
if the dominators found out you were into this and you were teaching this and you were using this and you were living
Yeah.
under natural law and you were learning from nature and applying this to your life and your community and all that stuff, that's the biggest threat to the state. So that's why
Yeah.
these people, that's why it's all the, the Nate, like the I don't know, I guess I don't know if people are the right word, but the people who lived in harmony with nature were always the main target. They're always the main target for genocide, and that's why, right?
Yeah. Yep. The native, the people of the land
Yeah,
that
yeah,
understood all this
yes,
medicines and how
yes.
to treat ailment
Well, and that's a
and how
big
to
one, medicine,
respect.
right? Yeah,
I mean, even hunting. There's a prayer that we do. We drop tobacco and we ask permission
yes,
from the animal, and if the animal is gone, then it we don't kill it.
right. Yeah,
If it's yeah,
I.
we basically ask its permission.
So once we understand all this, and once this is, and we in our spiritual group we get going, right? See, what I would like to see
Mhm.
happen with our spiritual, with us, the people who understand this coming to like start creating unity again, is because this is at the foundation of all of it, right? Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, medicine wheel teachings. This is at the root of all. This is how it works. This is how, you know what I mean? So once we get that, then the more diverse, the better, because it just reinforces all the different language and symbolism that talk about this and teach this. It
Yep.
just reinforces that it's truth, right? Because it holds true from every culture all over the world. So now we get into the seven liberal arts and sciences, and these go hand in hand, art and science. So the first part is, this is broken into two sections. The first part's the trivium, which is three, one, two, three, and then the quadrivium is four parts. So
Hmm.
trivium is how you come to the truth, how you process things to see if it's true or not, or it's lies. So
Hmm.
grammar is the masculine principle. So applying the left brain to is it the left brain? Or you get that backwards too? No, yeah. It's the masculine brain, left brain principles. Application. So it's logic, it's data collecting. But here's the thing. This is why it's so hard to do, because before you do it, you have to be practiced enough that you can drop your biased opinion.
Hmm.
You have to go into it with a fresh mind. You have to go into it, like, I mean, I know some of us who like to, I mean, we're all teachers and students, right? But the real keen students, it doesn't matter how old you are. I do this all the time. It doesn't matter how well I think I know it. I say to the teacher, teach it to me like I'm five. Teach it to me like I'm 5 years old. Pretend I don't know anything about that. Because at the very least, you're going to get the you're going to get the teaching in some other language that you may not have thought of, and you might think, okay, well,
Hmm.
now I can use that language to teach this to, like if I was getting this from, let's say, I don't know, a Hindu person, um, that that would teach me how I can use that language to, if I want to talk to it about to another Hindu person or whatever, you know what I mean? So that's why it's
Hmm.
important to, but it's you have to be able to be at that you have to be that practiced and disciplined that, you can check your ego at, I shouldn't say check it at the door. You can harness your ego, and your companions with it and stuff, and you do use it, and you can't, and there's no such thing as egolessness.
Hmm.
But you put it away, because you put it away, and you don't need it. You don't need it in the classroom if you're a serious student. And it's the same thing with your biased opinion.
Yeah.
Just for if you can do that, this isn't easy, right? If you
Hmm.
can do that, if you can drop your bias and be able to say, perhaps I was wrong about some details here,
Yep.
because nobody got it perfect, right? There's always more we can pick up on. There's always more detail we
Hmm.
can pull out. We can, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. If we learn it again, we're gonna definitely come to a deeper understanding of it. So
Yep.
the most important part is that you can drop your biased opinion on it, and open yourself up to the possibility that you were wrong about certain points.
Exactly.
Are you the type of person that can look in the mirror and say, I was wrong about that, and then
Yeah.
and then forgive yourself,
Hmm. Yep.
right?
Exactly.
That's actually a good mantra for a practice, a Polynesian practice called Ho'oponopono. And the mantra is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And that's very powerful. And the deeper you go into that practice, I've heard you can go so deep in that practice that you can actually reprogram your own memories, because depression is all based in memories. Depression is all unresolved past things, and you know,
Experiences.
damaging memories. So depression
Mhm.
is a problem with memory, and anxiety is a problem with imagination. You're letting your imagination run too wild because you're coming up with all these fantasies that aren't actually true, and then you're processing them like it's real, but it's all some fantasy you came up with in your mind. Like this can be
Mhm.
common for new parents, right? Like, oh my god, my kid does this, and then next thing you know, it's a big story, and you see them in an accident, and the
Yeah.
ambulance is there, and they're bleeding out, and they're dying. Like, this is all the case. You made all that shit up. Whoops,
Mhm.
sorry. Um,
That's right.
so right, and
That's why
it's a
we're.
fantasy, and it's damaging.
Yeah.
And you do the same thing with your memories, and so the that's kind of what anxiety and depression are. And then you also have the social, the social engineers are playing that too, because they're rewriting history and saying, oh, this is how it happened, this is why it happened, and all that stuff. So they're putting the depressive, they could be putting those depressive thoughts in your head that aren't even real, even though they were in the past. They made that
Mhm.
up. That's not how it happened. Right. And they can
Yep.
also do that to the future, like that, like, because all this fear that we've been that's, I mean, it's unbelievable to me. Like, I'm still like pinching myself to see if that would, like,
Me too.
that we just experienced this. People were afraid of nothing. They were afraid of nothing,
Yeah. Nothing. Yep. It's insane.
basically. They were afraid of me because I made a choice based on what, like, being able to discern what was going on. I made the choice that
Mhm.
it wasn't a crazy conspiracy theory choice, right? There was
The beauty.
all the
The
experts
be-
made the same choice, so
Yep. But the
like the real
beauty is
ones.
we did the homework to simplify it for others who don't have the time to learn all this
I
stuff.
know, and it's really frustrating when you're trying to, because again, it's like, but
Mhm.
then you're not really supposed to add to their fear by saying, oh well, you're gonna,
No. Yeah.
but
It.
at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like, man, like, it's out there now. We might as well just, the only
We
way
can.
out of this mess is demystifying the occult. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's starting to spill,
We,
and it's starting to spill out onto the ground. I was,
yeah.
I was more in the spiritual and mental realm, but now I'm gonna have to,
There's a lot
gonna have
of
to, like, actually.
value. There's a lot of value in what we're talking about
Yes,
for our fellow man, just to
well, we're gonna have to
empower
build yeah,
empower
and we're gonna
them.
have to build the communities. We're gonna have to build the communities so we can live this way, right?
Yeah,
Whether
as
it's
intended.
whether it's a major renovation of the communities that already exist, or we build new ones, or whatever. But, like,
Yep.
there's a reason why you do regenerative agricultural practices. There's a reason why you do natural building. So I don't know. I feel like that as traumatic as, because this was like, what happened over the last 6 years was a traumatic. We'll get in. Let's actually save that for when we get over there. Okay. Geez, I'm really rambling, aren't I?
No, one of my guests, Sean Wolf. I mean, he built a sustainable house, one that will last. You know, his complaint is like everything is self-destructing. It's
Yeah.
made to fail. It's made to die. Nothing is made
Yeah.
like it used to be made with integrity and love
Well,
and
yeah. I mean,
like
exactly.
castles and cathedrals that sustain You know what I mean? They last. Cars that
Yeah,
lasted.
right. And that goes right back to disaster capitalism, right?
Yes,
It
absolutely.
planned obsolescence. Planned obsolescence
And it's greed.
is
It's
harmful,
only,
and it's all
it
based in
is.
greed. It's all based in theft. It's all
Yep.
based in lies. It's
It's
all based
ugly.
in competition instead of cooperation.
Yep.
That's why
It's
it's
so
so hard for me to.
unnatural. It's
That's why it's
unnatural
so hard.
though.
It
It's not
is. It
even
is.
the way, it's not the way we are naturally.
It's
So
not.
how
It's
they
not.
manage this
No.
over time baffles my mind.
Yeah.
They fooled
And
everybody.
but I do feel like there is an awakening happening, and people are
There is.
naturally
Yep.
they're naturally building their intentional communities and living the way they know they were meant to live,
Yes.
especially with the with the creative as co-creators, the best
Yep.
co-creators they can be. And this, well, whether they're, the food for us.
Yeah. No
If
matter
you look
how
at what
bad things are, you're
if
not
you look
jumping.
at what Aaron Murphy's doing, one man Aaron Murphy, um, this movement called Murph's Life, and he's doing it in the exact same place where my wife and I were planning on retiring in El Salvador,
Hmm.
coincidentally. And it's everything I dreamed of doing in Canada for an intentional community. Entrepreneurship built in. They already got the food forest planted, botanical gardens. They got the terraced mountainside
Excellent.
for the veggies, all natural built houses. It's my dream come true. And coincidentally enough, it's like really the exact place we were looking at retiring, or at least going into semi-retirement. Like, kind of want to skip around a bit, be a little bit more nomadic, but may not
Yeah.
may not be allowed. I may not make it out of here and get incarcerated or
Yeah.
something, killed.
God knows, eh? Who knows what's going to happen?
They
But
don't want
we're not
they
going to
don't want
give
this
up.
stuff. They don't want this stuff getting out.
No,
So
no.
no. So okay, so this is the masculine aspect of data collecting. But what the reason why I stressed unbiased so much is because you have to take in everything. That's why the people that think they know what's going on, but don't, they're only looking at their biased news. They're not looking
Absolutely.
at left, right, center,
Yep.
this person, that person, the like the history of it. Like, you got to take it this is all the data, all of it, all the data. You're not processing it at this point. You're just collecting it unbiasedly. You're collecting it, you're listing it. Left, right, center, rich guy, poor guy, who's saying, like, it doesn't matter. All sources. Then logic is applied to it, which is the feminine principle. So now you're applying, uh, how does my gut feel about this?
Yep.
Um, what's my heart say? Uh, what? Who has like who are the people? Let's assess the people who are telling the story. What do they have to gain? What do they have to gain? What do they have to lose? Are they victims or are they predators? Because for the most part, I mean, if you look at violent crime and stuff like that, it's very rare that the victim's lying. It's a very rare that somebody who's been severely abused or severely damaged is lying. That's just the pattern. This is all about pattern recognition. We'll go through this part. We'll cover that. But so so that's the thing. It's where was I? Just lost my train of thought there for a second. Yeah. So it's, how do I feel about the people that are telling the story? Would this person more likely be lying or more likely be telling the truth? What do they have to gain? What do they have to lose? That's I mean, basically, uh, 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 what tells the tale for fall of the money, right? But but the ones who are that who put their whole career on the line, like one day they're at the top of their field as a scientist, or as a developer of certain medical procedures and technologies, and then all of a sudden overnight that they're a quack, and they're a
Great.
crazy conspiracy theorist, like,
No, it's
you know,
terrible.
and they like they've been canceled. They lost everything. They lost their whole career. So are they more likely to be telling the truth or lying? You know,
Yeah.
why would you stand up to voice your expert opinion and put all that on the line? Not only that, these people are getting death threats. These people are getting canceled. So this
Yep.
comes into play at this level on logic, and
Yep.
then and then and then putting the two together. Like, this is kind of the balanced part of it, right? So what makes sense when you compare where the data is coming from up here, left, right, center, whatever, and here, who's telling the story? How do I feel about it? That's very important, because, like, when you develop yourself, your intuition, your gut tells you a lot. Um, and you're kind of putting it together here into this is kind of the part where you actually define where you separate the truth from the lies in this part. And if you're good at the process, you can be pretty accurate with it. And that's not but then you can test it. Then you can put it to the test by creating with what you think the truth is through this second part. This is kind of like,
Yep.
if you're using this, let's say, to gather information on research. Let's say you're doing research to, I don't know, do some kind of artwork or whatever, or some
Mhm.
kind of like elaborate creation.
Yeah.
Then here is where the rubber meets the road. This is where you put it into practice. So arithmetic is it's just numbers, and how we can work with these numbers. Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. So it's arithmetic, geometry, music, astronomy. So arithmetic is numbers, geometry is numbers in space, music is numbers in time, and astronomy is numbers in space time. Now, when you examine, like, the lives of some of the greatest artists that ever exist, like Leonardo da Vinci, you're gonna find out that, like, he's done work in all these distinct, like, you know what I mean? You'll see in his side notes and his thing, he's he's he knows all about Fibonacci numbers and the golden ratio and stuff like that, and pi and phi and all that stuff, because it's all proportion, right?
Hmm.
All needed to create. This is where you really go, like, learn the brass tacks of it all. And geometry is actually when you apply the arithmetic, and this, every all equations can be graphed, right? That give you shape, two-dimensional shape, three-dimensional shape that turns into geometry, and then
Hmm.
we can work with that. And then music is so that's numbers in space geometry. Then numbers in time music. That's where you have if you knew, I mean, you know a heck of a lot more about this than me. I'm just a hacker on the guitar. You know, like, music theory and stuff.
Yeah, it's cool that we both play guitar, isn't it?
You want a job in my invitation only private school?
Hey, you know what's really cool? We both play guitar.
Cover some talkets. I'm looking for teachers. Yeah, but I
Are
suck
you?
at it.
Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness.
I shouldn't be so hard on myself, but I'm gonna get really good over the next year.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have a full beard in a few years,
Sweet.
guaranteed.
Cool.
Just like Trump's board of peace to guarantee peace and safety. Then sudden destruction comes upon them.
Well, it was I hear there was reasons for people in more nature based cultures to grow their hair long. I think there might be something to it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
heard that too.
the story is Samson. Remember there was a Michael
Mm.
Landon movie about that. He was like throwing javelin or something, and it was back in the '60s when it was like taboo to have long hair. Or maybe it was before that. Anyways, but it's a pretty
Yep.
interesting story. But
And
yeah,
that's
First
where his
Nations
power,
people. Yeah,
his power was in his hair, which is also a
yeah,
chemical full of cells and everything we
yeah.
were talking about. So how
So
amazing
interesting, eh? And then
it
then
is.
I've heard stories where you have these, these natural trackers. Like, their senses are so heightened that they can track. They're so skilled at tracking people, tracking lost people or whatever the case may be. But then you hear, okay, they were really good. They were really good at it at the top of their game. Then they cut all their hair off, and then they suck at it. It's like they can barely
Yeah,
do it anymore. And I don't know how
yeah.
true that is, but like you hear those stories. I think there
The
might be something
truth
to it.
is, I cut my own hair.
Yeah,
I do it all alone. Do it myself. I use mirrors.
yeah, yeah,
When I stand in front of the mirror,
yeah,
I use a mirror that I bought at a circus that makes me look very
yeah,
trim and lean.
yeah. Right on. So
So
to
deep
go into more
conversation.
detail on, so here's the part I find most fascinating.
Hmm.
And you'll notice when you look at how, okay, let me go back to, I don't think I put this up here, or did I put this up here? So there are traditions that think of the creator as the grand architect of the universe. You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
So we can come to understand how it's actually constructed, you
and a
know.
part of and like participating in everything, like there all the time, all around us, inside of
Yes,
us.
yes. The
Like,
observer and the participator.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah. So so there's patterns. Now people say, "Oh yeah, you think you see patterns, but you're a crazy conspiracy theorist." No, there actually
Yes,
are patterns that are backed
yes.
up by all this, and
Yeah.
there's not that many. There's not even that many.
No,
And
but
yes, they're very repetitive.
a good way to show that is like sand with using different frequencies and how they create form shape.
Yeah.
And, it's like
Yes.
a sound in a visual form.
Yes. Yeah. Cymatics.
Hmm.
And isn't it interesting when it hits the okay? So we're kind of jumping ahead to music, but let's start with arithmetic. So
Hmm.
the main ones are now. This is the most fascinating part for me because I'm a numbers guy, and my main way of putting art out to the world is architecture and engineering, house design and building, right? So
Mm.
this is really hands-on stuff for me. So, you see pi and you see phi, square root of two, and all of these numbers that are irrational numbers. So
Right.
what's it mean to be an irrational number? And this is why we can't understand these. And there's these are the two main ones, but mainly this one. So this is pi, and this is
How the heck?
I could look it up on my thing. This is the 1 point or 3.14 and so on, so on. And I mean, there's a lot of the construction of the world of what's on our planet is these. So whether it's the numbers, whether it's the ratios, whether it's there's all kinds of relationships. But
Hmm.
this one is most interesting. Square root of 2, 5, 1.6. That ratio is everywhere. That's the average person spacing of their eyes, their facial proportions, their there's just the human body alone, and that ratio is it's almost infinite how much this appears in your proportions. And this is why the people like Da Vinci were so all over this stuff, all this stuff. So you have, here's the thing about these numbers. We cannot understand, we cannot fully comprehend these numbers because it's the same thing as
Hmm.
this infinite thing going on. This we can only understand our world in pattern recognition, in recognizing patterns. If there's no pattern, we can't grasp it. If there's no pattern, it's in the realm of the divine. That's why this is sacred.
Yep.
This is sacred geometry. This is sacred math. This is sacred music. When it's based on these, especially this one.
Yep.
Right? You heard of sacred, everybody's heard of sacred geometry, cloud of life, Metatron's
Absolutely.
cube and the golden ratio and the golden arch. Well, that most of that stuff comes from this, and I mean, there's a lot of stuff that comes from pi too. But I just want to focus in on this one because this is everywhere, and so
Yes.
is this, and they are in combination and stuff. But I like this one because arithmetic. So I should have did this. I'm just going to do it. I don't know. Can I flip this around?
It's okay.
Well, I didn't get to that, but like, okay, so Fibonacci sequence, that's kind of the basis of arithmetic based on
Mhm.
phi. So it's like we said earlier, it's one plus one equals two. Then you take these two numbers, you go one plus two equals three. Then you take these two numbers, you go three plus two equals five. Then you take these two numbers. Wait a minute, did I get that right? Three plus two is five. Then you take these two. Oh no, shoot. I did it backwards. Sorry. My bad. Two plus three equals five. You always do the smaller number first, then the bigger number, then the answer. So then it's two plus three equals five. Then it's three plus five equals eight. Then you got eight plus five or five plus eight, 13, and so on. This one here, what's eight and I think I'm getting into the realm of needing my calculator. So this is 21, right? That's that 21, 8 plus 13. Yes. This here is this is I mean, all these numbers, look at them, like all these are very significant. So that creates, that's Fibonacci sequence. And then if you divide these numbers, if you start dividing this by that, what happens is when you're at the beginning of this, you get a general answer like 1.6. But as you divide it out, it gets more accurate. The ratio becomes more of what this number actually is and takes it to more, or gets it closer to, thank you. Yeah, 6.18. Go there. You know what? Yeah, that's very helpful. I was gonna do a bunch of stuff like that, but I didn't have time. Yeah, so there you go. Seashell architecture, but yeah, the proportions that there's known as the golden ratio. Um, I'm sorry, the golden spiral. Now,
I'm not sure, but I think you you're frozen. Are you frozen? I have no more sound from you. Let's make sure everything's working. Oh yeah, yours. The wheel is spinning up there. That's okay. But yeah, that's exactly what you were talking about. We didn't talk about the seven tenets of Satan, which I can run through very quickly, just in case the internet gods don't bring him back to us. Okay. Now, just listen with a clear mind, because I'm not a Satanist. Just so you understand, I haven't attached my flag to anybody. I just want to hear what everyone has to say. So, first tenet: one should strive to act with compassion towards all creatures in accordance with reason. Number two, the struggle for justice is a necessary and ongoing pursuit that should prevail over institution and laws. Three, one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. Four, the freedoms of others should be respected, included including the freedom to offend, to willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedom of another, is to forge one's own. One's belief, next one, five, one's belief should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. Let me just do this instead, because I think it will be so much easier just to read it and show it at the same time. That way, some people, uh, I myself included, do much better. Just let me just make myself very tiny, maybe even tinier. Let's see. There we go. I'm not sure if that's going to work. Okay. Where was I? Number five. One's belief should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. One should take care to never distort scientific facts to fit one's beliefs. That's what we went through the last 5 years. Number six, people are fallible. If one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it and resolve any harm it might have caused. The final tenet. Each tenet is a guiding principle designed to inspire nobility in action and thought. 7. The spirit of wisdom, compassion, and justice should always prevail over the written or spoken word. As you can see, that's not a religion, and Satanists do not worship Satan. And I know the church calls Satan, the liar, but to me, Satan is uh, it's an adverb. It's a description, like adversary, like the district attorney in court is your adversary because he sees you, he prejudges you as guilty, and wants to determine that in the outcome for you to be found guilty. And that's kind of the same biblical role as the devil. But I have a much bigger picture of what he is. He is a child of God. He is the Son of God. Uh, Adversary or not, he's on a different wavelength where I don't see him. He is a different entity, a different being on a different level of thinking and understanding. He understands the Creator much more than much more than I could ever understand, because my knowledge is limited. I can only lift up so many rocks, and I pretty sure the divining serpent, I mean the Vatican, uh, uh, has buried a lot of things that would help us understand under its catacombs, tunnels, whatever, what have you. But they hide no more. We lift the rocks and reveal the truth, and that's what this is about. And I'm glad I was able to do everything I set out to do by sharing things that compelled me deep down, and I felt was really important for my fellow man. Whether I like the person or not, I still see them as someone, like we talked about, with purpose, not a mistake, but an outcome of will. And You know, we need to connect, and we're going to connect, and we're going to. March is going to be tough. It's been tough. You know, it's been worrisome. Price of food and gas. There's a lot of elements happening, but it's like cracking open the third eye in mankind, and it's an act of, you know, it's a cataclysm. But my mission is to seek and find the truth, to uncover and expose the lies. I think that's our duty, is to expose the lie, not to expose the flaws in each other and attack each other's judge. We judge Canada. We judge people by the content of their character, not necessarily. We don't. There's not really any racism, unless it's a frequent reoccurrence, something. But we can't open our arms to ideologies that break our laws. Our government can't say we're a Muslim country when the Quran violates laws that we have, and they're marrying young girls, in the closet, burning down Christian churches, it in silence. There's nothing on the news about it. But I think we're coming to a point in time where we're evolving, we're rising up, and being a part of that rising is very exciting. And I'm not here to sell anything. That's not my purpose. I'm not here to convince you to change religions. I think they all lied in their own way. I don't know about the Gita is kind of the glue that brought them all together. It's like, whoa, now it makes more sense. It really, every book I read helped explain the other books. There are things missing, like the Bible doesn't tell you that what the Quran says, that Jesus spoke as a baby in a crib. He could speak like me, like man, spoke like a man with clarity. So this is kind of an important thing to miss. If he could actually do that, then. And I have a problem that the Quran, the Talmud, the Bible all talk about Jesus. All of them. They all use the name Jesus, even though that wasn't even his name. These sorts of things matter. When you're praying, you want to address, when you're talking to someone, you want to address them correctly, by their name, or you could say brother or sister, and that's dangerous nowadays, but still, that's an assumption. But that's part of the war, is so we can't communicate. If you don't get the gender right, you go to jail for that. That's a form of a phobia or hate. No, it is just what's been thrown out of over 100 countries already, and it just, history keeps repeating itself. And it's here. It's here, folks. It's in Canada, and they're in self-destruct mode. They're stealing all the money they can and sending it overseas and buying their yachts and lands and houses and doing whatever the hell they want on your dime. There is a peaceful solution, and the creator is involved, so we're not alone. And we picked the right team. We're on the winning team, and I'm going to do my best to try to smoothen the journey as it moves forward. Next date to prepare, July, and then November. It's done. The cycle is over, and we can either repeat, or we can take hand of the reins, take over backer schools, backer institutions, get rid of greed. Greed is a problem. If you have a good product, you will succeed. You know, if glyphosate is poison, it's an act of war to spray it on everything, because it's not just an attack on the body, the pineal gland, it's attack on the animals, the deer, the cows, and the fish, even in the sea. Well, I have lost my friend. He may have lost his internet, but I hope we've uh, made sense of all of that in the 3 hours show. But everything was touched on, and there's a little bit of repeating here and there, but I think it was very important, effective, and I thank you for coming to the show. And we'll see you. Gee, when's my next show? Um, Monday, Monday 23rd, live in Ottawa. So that'll be pretty exciting. We'll see you there. Have a great weekend.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!